The podcast on Haunted Hill will contain spoilers and swearing.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Please help us, Michael. Be one of us.
I didn't tell you my name.
Hang up.
I didn't tell them my name.
They're all a part of it. They're all parts of it.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Jesus!
Are you alright?
Sure.
Nothing's going on here. Just kids playing pranks, waiting for a podcast, trick-or-treating, partying, getting high. I have the feeling you're way off on this.
You have the wrong feeling.
Well, you're not coming up with much to prove me wrong.
What do you need exactly?
Well, it's going to take more than fancy talk to keep me up all night, creeping around these bushes.
Listen, I've recorded the podcast for over 10 years, sitting in a room, staring at a wall, not seeing the wall, seeing past it, waiting for this night. They've waited for it, inhumanly patient, hour after hour, day after day, waiting for some silent, invisible alarm to trigger them. This podcast has arrived in your little town, Sheriff. You can ignore it, or you can help me record it.
More fancy talk. You want to know what podcasting is? Families, children, all lined up for new episodes. This episode, tonight. They're lined up on all the streets. You're telling me they're lined up for a slaughterhouse?
They could be.
I'll record with you tonight, Doctor. Just on the chance that you're right. And if you are right, damn you for recording this episode.
Michael!
Hello, and welcome to the podcast on Haunted Hill, episode 185. I'm Ghoulish Gav, sitting in the crypt with...
Dastardly Dan.
Here we
Welcome
are.
to our Halloween special.
Yes, I'm not going to do that voice all episode, but here we are. It's spooky. It's me and Dan. We're kooky. It'd be good if we had a Wookiee in the place. What else rhymes with that? A dookie? Wookiee,
and then we're
Wookiee
gonna-
doing a dookie?
And then we're going to have a little bit of Nookie.
Oh, with a Wookiee.
Oh, dear.
No
Chewie.
dookies. Yeah, that's just a weird...
I always imagine Chewie being extremely well hung. So
I'm sure he is, like a horse. Happy Halloween, everybody. How's everyone doing? Is everybody well and safe out there? And if you're trick-or-treating while listening to us, be careful. Someone could sneak up behind you like Michael Myers and take you out. Because you'd be so engrossed listening to the oral tones from the throats and the saliva and the blood and the glands of Dan and I's insides.
wow, sounds like we're turning inside out. Well, this is our Halloween episode, episode 185, as you say. And as is tradition for the last 5 years now, we'll be doing a franchise face-off. And randomly we paired up Nightmare on Elm Street and the Halloween franchise because there's so many of them, and because we're covering Friday the 13th separately in our summer, over the summer every year. So we've covered, all of them right up into part 6. So this time around, this episode, this year, this Halloween, we've saved the best till last. Well, no, because there's a couple more to go next year. But I laughed when I said the best. We are covering A Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, it's actually called Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare from 1991. And normally these franchises released in the same year.
Spoiler, it wasn't the final one.
It wasn't the final one. There was 2 more after that and then a remake. And then we are also covering Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, starring Ant-Man himself, who still annoyingly doesn't look any different. I was watching it and Alice said, "Oh, what's this film?" I said, "Oh, it's this is from 95. She said, he looks good, doesn't he? And I thought, fuck off. But yes, he does. So Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers from 95. So this is the first year Halloween has overtaken the Friday, the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise by year, because they normally release around the same year. But this year, part 6 of the Halloween, it was 4 years after part 6 of the Nightmares. So little tidbit for you there, Gav. Thought you might like that.
Tidbits. We all like tidbits.
Happy Halloween, Gav. Happy Halloween, listeners.
Happy Spooktacular. Happy Halloween to us both. I like your costume. It's you're naked, but
yeah,
it's scary.
I was going to go as a skeleton. But I couldn't be bothered to take off all my skin.
No,
so,
it's a hard one to do. It's unzip one's self.
Yeah, there is a Garbage Pail Kid that I used to absolutely love. Where he's
Reveal
unzipping
yourself, Daniel, your true self.
Have you seen that Garbage Pail Kid? I can't remember his name though. Where he's unzipping his skull and his skeleton's coming out, and I think it's called like Unzipped Zach or something like that. But that was one of my favourites.
Scary that being a horror movie. Someone just has a wig, pulls their wig off, and has a zip, and just starts. But you'd see the zip there beforehand, so that it needs to be around the back. That
scene does exist in a film by Ron Howard, starring the sexy Steve Guttenberg, called Cocoon, where the aliens they're sort of partying on a yacht, and they don't know Steve Guttenberg's spying on them, and they unzip their human skin, and they're sort of these weird glowing things underneath, and it's really freaked me out as a kid.
That film was a weird one. As a kid in the 80s, I'd like being engrossed and try and get in everything, RoboCop to fucking Goonies to fucking everything, as every good 80s viewing kid did. And that one was a weird one, because I remember it was on TV once. I was like, oh yeah, it's about aliens and shit. Yeah, no, I used to sit down and watch it, and I'm like, I don't know, 9, 10, I don't know. And watching it, and like, it's all about old people. Like, there's literally no characters that I can relate to in the slightest or want to see. But there's a dude from Police Academy, so I like Police Academy, so that's got that going for it. But
and the guy
aliens,
from Rambo. The guy from Rambo's in it as well.
Okay, but it was all seemed too serious and about aging and stuff. Like now, I bet if we fucking said, let's cover it for the podcast just for the hell of it, and I don't watch it until that episode, I'll probably come up with you and say, oh my God, I understand what it is. It's about aging and being old. And
yeah, I watched it recently, and it's quite relatable now. It's all about sort of
it's because you're older,
wanting to get your youth back and your energy levels back, and it's quite hard hitting now as an older person. And funny enough, as a segue, I'll swing into what we've been watching and all that sort of stuff, and get into a Halloween spirit, because I'm not going to go into them all, but just a couple of the 31 movies I've been watching. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm watching only Stephen King movies, and now I'm a dad. There's been 2 movies that I haven't seen since becoming a dad. One of those is The Mist. I watched that recently, and that ending now. now I'm a dad.
Oh, now you feel
because as soon as the boy shows up, and they really play up the relationship that he's got. He loves his son so much. His son's crying for, Daddy, don't leave me. I'll never leave you. I promise, son. I'll always fight for you. I'll do everything I can. And then the ending comes, and I was just like, I didn't actually get upset at the ending. I was upset more during the film because I knew what was coming. But that cast is phenomenal, and it's all Walking Dead sort of cast, because it was by the guy that did Walking Dead. I didn't realise that. And he actually wanted Thomas Jane to be the lead in Walking Dead, but obviously it went to Andrew Lincoln in the end instead. What a film. One of the best adaptations. And Stephen King said, because that isn't how the ending of the book is, but Stephen King apparently was watching it with the guy that directed it, Darabont, isn't it? Frank Darabont. Yeah. And he leant over to him as the credits rolled and said, that's one hell of an ending. And Stephen King says that about your adaptation of one of his works. You've done a good job. It
was bleak.
It is. And the other one I watched, similarly bleak, Now I'm a Dad, is the original Pet Sematary, Gav. Why did I watch it? Why?
Very quickly, before you get onto it very quickly, Andrew Lincoln, just a quick one, my friend Oscar said he went up to London the other day and watched a play with Andrew Lincoln in it, and he said it is the most amazing immersive theatre thing. All of a sudden the stage turned into a swimming pool,
Wow.
And Andrew Lincoln was just swimming in the swimming pool, and then just it kept changing, and all different things. And there was like rain coming down at one period. He's just walking in the rain, and all the rain was like 3D sound around you, like surround sound, you know. So I was like, oh man, that'd be amazing. Anyway, sorry, that was my Andrew Lincoln memory nudge. Cool. Carry on with Pet Cemetery. Yes, children being killed by run over trucks. Yes, go.
Yeah, that was. He's a cute little boy as well.
It's when you see it before the parents that he probably shouldn't be going over there, have a little run over there. Then the parents see it, and then you're with going, yeah.
And as if that wasn't as upsetting enough, his dad then buries him in the pet cemetery, and then he comes back to life, and then it's that horrible moment where the little zombie boy
is a little bastard.
He is a little bastard, but he's also don't hurt me, Daddy.
What if he was already a little bastard?
Well,
would he come back super bastard, double R bastard, or reversed cool?
Actually, I also watched Bloody Cujo, and that's got some upsetting scenes if you're a parent as well. So I've not really done myself any favours, really, now that I'm a parent. But anyway, I won't go into them all
because I like dogs too much, and children in peril I don't like. So
the reason I won't go into all of our watches, I just wanted to touch on a couple, is because if you're a patron supporter of this show, we have been dropping some exclusive mini episodes for you. So far I think we've got 4 out now, where we're breaking down in a little bit more detail what we've been watching with little mini reviews. So if you're not already a patron supporter, that might be a little nudge for you to want to join us. I covered my first 10 in my first mini episode, and then my next 10. So I'll be finishing up with another episode towards the end of the month. And Gav, you've done a couple of episodes covering probably about your first 15 or so.
7 and 7, I think.
Yeah, 7 and 7, 14.
7 and 8, one of the two.
Yeah, so if you are interested in what we've been watching in a bit more detail over the 31 days of horror, then check that out if you're a patron. And if you're not a patron, then sign up, even if you just sign up for a month.
Come after the Halloween episode, Patreon episodes are dropped. I will be starting to do mini episodes, which is just me, because Dan and I, it's easier for Dan and I to do it. So occasionally, though, we can do some Patreon content. We can call it exclusively After Dark or something like that, can't we, Dan?
The podcast on until After Dark.
Oh, sexy.
Because that was what Baywatch did that. So, Baywatch Nights they did. Do you remember when they did that? And Hasselhoff became like a private investigator. So he was moonlighting as a private investigator at night, and it was a bit more adult. Have you not seen Baywatch Nights?
No.
And then they sort of did some episodes where there was a ghost, and then there was aliens. And
please tell me he drove Kit around as well.
Oh, if he'd have done that. It got a bit X-Files towards the end, and they ended up cancelling it after like 2 or 3 seasons because it was just like, this isn't Baywatch. Baywatch is like beaches. It's not about David Hasselhoff solving murder of aliens.
Do you remember Midnight Caller? It's a radio show. It used to be on quite late on like BBC One, and I used to watch that as a kid because didn't have many channels as a kid, 4 channels, and that's it. So yeah, I used to watch that. Anyway, yeah, Patreon content. I'm going to do some more stuff. I'm going to do some mini episodes. I'm going to do some top 10s. I've got a load of top 10 lists. I'm going to be rocking my favourite horror and some recommendations that you probably haven't seen. I recently picked up a shitload of VHS. Did you see?
I did, Gav. Why don't you tell our listeners what you got?
Well, I'm not going to go through it all. I've got about 26 different titles, and really some kind of obscure stuff I don't even know, a couple of them. Just a load of VHS. Some lady in Peterborough, where Sarah lives, was selling them. But she was doing bundles, and you couldn't specifically just say, I want these ones. She was doing like, you just get 25 movies back. So I was like, yeah, but I don't want just random horror movies. I want to choose, obviously. But anyway, so I've sorted out and I got like 26 movies off her. £2 a tape. And I got some really good shit, which is good because it'd be good for when I start my YouTube channel, the video store, which will be coming soon in a couple of years.
Ish.
It's a couple of years probably. I've got to get the studio sorted out properly, a proper studio sorted out for it. So. But I'm collecting videotapes, horror videotapes, so I've got those so I can review the movies. So I'm digging getting a big load of fucking horror VHS. I'm well into it.
Yeah, it's cool. They take up a lot of room, but they're cool, man, and I love them. You know, I watched both of our movies. Actually, that's a lie. I watched Freddy on DVD because I own the DVD, and I watched Halloween on VHS because I own all the Halloweens on VHS.
Nice.
Well, up until number 6. I don't have 7 or 8. Never owned them, so next year I'll be...
And we are making our own as well, Deadbolt Films. We've got an HP Lovecraft with our 3 short films, which we sold a couple of recently to some collectors. And then we could do Amanda, the found footage movie. You could press that onto video as well, because we can.
I was thinking about VHS tapes because my VHS player is starting to show signs of it's not going to last much longer because it's like third hand.
Yeah,
and you can't really. It's so hard to buy them.
At some point, yeah, I know they're getting less and less and less. You do see them all the time, but you see kind of shitty sort of Sanyo ones.
Well, mine is a Sanyo. Funny.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine because it is shit.
They're real cheap plastic casing type ones.
But what I was thinking of, and this is just a bit of a tangent before we carry on with our Halloween watches and celebrations, is why doesn't somebody invent? And this might be out there. So tell me, listeners, if it is. But a little tiny, like a mini VHS player that's a little bit bigger than say about the size of a big box VHS rental tape, and it just sits behind your TV plugged in, and it's just enough space to put the cassette in. It doesn't have to have any buttons on it because you could use a remote control for it, and it goes in sideways. You know what I mean?
So
you're putting
smart
it in
TV. Yeah. But it has like a little slot for VHS.
Yeah.
Like a little post box.
Just a little box you've got behind your TV, and you plug it in.
That's pretty cool, man.
I'd love that because, especially putting it in sideways, it'd be so convenient. There'd be none of this front loading stuff. Just down in, press play, and boom.
I think also TV's got such slim. They got so slim, so they obviously have to have
not
one
attached
bigger
to the
casing.
TV.
Not attached.
No, not just like something you buy. Like it's basically a
like
VHS
a DVD
player,
drive for your laptop.
Yeah. Just
a
something
VHS
cool
drive.
like that. Because you can get like a Sega Mini.
You could get one and have it as an app on your phone, like a VHS drive. How fucking cool would that be?
I wouldn't fit a VHS tape in my phone, I don't think.
Right. You bloody idiot. I've watched a couple of Halloween films now. Me and Dan, like we just said, doing a Patreon episode where we've been saying what we're saying. I am going to say 2 of them very quickly. I could give a shout out to The Summer of 84. Summer of 84. Excellently produced film. I can't recommend this film enough. If you kind of like the Stranger Things vibes, as in you grew up with the Goonies and Gremlins and all that stuff, and Friday Night, things like that, and you can really relate to it. I think you would. It's such a well-produced film. You've seen it, haven't you?
I have, yeah. It's been a while. I think I saw it when it first came out, which is about 2, 3, 4 years ago.
I think it got overshadowed with Stranger Things coming out.
I really enjoyed it. I did really enjoy it.
Such a bleak ending. I haven't
seen it again. Have you seen it? Is that the first time you've seen it?
No, second, but the first time was years ago. And this time around, I really watched it, and I was like, man, this is really good. The Blu-ray copies are like 40 odd quid, I think it is.
Because it was on... Very sure it was on Netflix.
Shudder.
That's where I saw it. Yeah.
And it's not now, you can rent on Amazon, I think. But it's a really, really good film. I really recommend that movie if you like that kind of 80s vibe. But it is so well produced. The music, the cast, the kids in it are so well cast. Sorry, kid. But the kid who has the glasses and the red hair, I think he's got all red hair in it, out of the 4 of them, he looks like the girl from the Goonies.
I know the Goonies.
You got the 2 girls. He looks like the one with the glasses. It's so weird.
That film has picked up a lot of steam over the years, and it's funny.
Really
it's
good.
Almost like that's what Shudder's for. Shudder and some of these smaller places to rent or to stream. They pick up their speed on there. And now people want to go out and buy the physical copy of that a few years later because it's developed a bit of a cult following, which I think is great. It doesn't happen very often.
No. But,
Trick or Treat is a great example of that. I was listening to a podcast today where they were talking about Trick or Treat, saying it only really came out in the UK at film festivals, did a very limited run in the US, And it's only because of streaming and DVD and now Blu-ray, people love that film. Some people cannot go Halloween without watching it.
Yeah, it's very, very staple of Halloween because really well made short films though. That's the thing. Some of those anthologies can, hit and miss, but that's a solid movie throughout.
Yeah, and it struck me when I was listening to these guys discussing it. I was like, oh yeah, it never really officially came out other than like Fright Fest here and a few other places. I don't think it had a cinema run in the UK.
Yeah, I think it had issues somewhere. I can't remember what. So summer of '84, basically 4 kids, they think the next door neighbour who's a cop is a killer. That's not really a spoiler, that is the synopsis of the film. It's really good, and I definitely recommend that film if you're into that sort of thing.
If you like The Burbs and you like Fright Night,
and
you'll love
Goonies.
Summer of '84. Yeah, totally.
That's basically those 3 films.
What was your other recommendation?
Incantation on Netflix. I hadn't seen it. It's on my list to watch. So Charlie's like, I was like, do I watch horror movie? And they formerly known as Ask Jasmine, they like found footage films. They really dig found footage, actually, out of any old horror films. I think they like the realism of it. So we watched Incantation on Netflix, which is really, really good.
Okay, let me add this to my list as live as we do this, because I'll take your recommendations. And I do love a good found footage movie. And
it was just creepy, really creepy at times. We watched it until about 1 a.m. It's good. I wasn't creeped out, but it does have a real creepy vibe to it. So if you want something late nights and found footage, subtitled, I think it's from China. Yeah, very good. I highly recommend that one, actually.
As her life spirals out of control, a rebellious undergraduate begins practicing a forbidden witchcraft, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, okay. The Deadly Curse, brilliant, love that. Great. On my list. Thanks, Gav.
There you go. That's all I'm going to say. So I recommend them for this Halloween season. There's my recommendations.
I only have 2 more to mention, and then we'll get into our franchise face-off and what we were doing for Halloween, etc. I watched the new Friday the 13th short for the first time today, which is called Sweet Revenge. So Never Hike Alone.
Oh, I was going to say, it's following on from those, is it?
I think it's a different production team, completely different, and it's almost a different spin on it.
It's a fan film like our Sanctuary Moon.
Yeah, and it's 13 minutes long. It's on YouTube now to watch. It's called Sweet Revenge. It is an interesting take on it. Jason's great in it. Some really good kills in it. A little confusing, so I might have to rewatch it. I think I get where they're going with the ending of it. But it is only 13 minutes of your time, and about 3 minutes of that is 4 minutes of that is credit. So honestly, if you've got 20 minutes to spare, watch Sweet Revenge. If you're hungry for more Jason and you've had enough of all the other Jasons, check that one out. But the other one, the main one I really wanted to mention from my 31, and again, I'll be going into these in real great detail on our Patreon episodes. I've said it a million times, but subscribe, is The Shining, Gav. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've always appreciated The Shining, but I've always thought it was slightly overhyped. I don't know why. We covered it years ago with Duncan on our crossover show with the podcast Under the Stairs.
The last time you watched it?
I think it might have been. So we're talking 10 years ago.
It might even be mine, to be honest with you.
And I watched it the other night with Alice.
Had she seen it?
She's seen it, yeah, but probably
not seen it.
Yeah. So I had the volume up, and I was watching it, and I was drawn into it. This film is
mesmerising,
nothing short of a masterpiece, and I don't know why it's taken me all these years to get to that.
Sucks you into the house, doesn't it?
Let me tell you what it is. I didn't realise how much of the tension and terror comes from the score. The score is terrifying and phenomenal throughout. It's this constant sounds and bass and tension all coming from this orchestral score.
I listen to that score a lot. It's good.
It's Jack Nicholson's performance. It's the hotel. It's the little boy's performance. It's just, and because I had the volume up so loud, I think it was just really getting under my skin, and now I'm totally like, I see it. I've always liked the movie. You know, it's a classic. Kubrick, Nicholson. You know, it's a Stephen King, and I know Stephen King didn't like it, but wow, that is nothing short of fantastic. And I'll be watching Doctor Sleep in the next day or two, which I've only seen once as well, and I remember really enjoyed that. And now I've freshly watched The Shining. I'm excited to watch Doctor Sleep. I wish I could have done them as a double bill, but that would have been about 4.5, 5 hours long in total, so I don't really have the time or the mental energy to stay awake for that. But yeah, The Shining, man, like if you haven't seen it for a long time, like me and perhaps Gav, go back and watch it and really turn off all the lights, put your phone away, you know, and just listen to that score and watch it unfold. It is absolutely terrifying. And Jack Nicholson is a real piece of shit in this film, but he does it in such a way. It's great. Anyway, I'm not going to keep going on about it, but The Shining, we all know it, but it's a great movie. And I'm weirdly never really appreciated just how great it was until the other day. So that's that. I love it when that happens, though. Do you know what I mean?
It's not very often it happens. But occasionally you watch a film and you actually, quite often I think by yourself, maybe sometimes as well, I don't know, and you just watch a film and all of a sudden you just like go, oh my God, like, wow, something, I don't know, something clicks at a certain point, like the key opens the door and you go, oh, I get this now. Like, okay.
It's not quite the same level, but it's happened with Hereditary. I didn't like that film, and then the second time I watched it, I still didn't really like it. And the third time I watched Hereditary, I was like, this is really good, actually. Yeah. And I don't know why. That's why I'm happy to go back and watch a film that I haven't necessarily rated very highly. Well, because I know sometimes I unlock these.
Halloween 6, I was I'm not saying it's up there with Shining, but I enjoyed it more than I actually thought I was going to enjoy it. But anyway, anything else to say, Daniel?
The only other thing is, are you doing anything fun for Halloween? Are you
I'm away for the week.
Dressing up?
I'm away for the week next week with Sarah. I've actually been on holiday twice this month. Don't everybody think, fucking hell, look at you, rich boy.
That's where the Patreon money's going?
No, it's out of season, so I did it last year as well. Going on holiday later in the year, it's actually a bit cheaper. So me and Sarah off to the seaside. East of England, Midwest, mid England, East, mid, whatever you want to say. And we're going to watch a load of horror movies in a lodge. And leading up to Halloween, we come back actually on Halloween. Now, this does mean I might not be able to get to the kids. So it's been a thing. I've been with the kids every Halloween for 18 years since I've had kids for 18 years now. So I've always been there, done the trick-or-treating. Horror's my thing, blah, blah, ball. This time I might struggle to get back because I have to go around the M25 on Halloween about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's just going to be a fucking ball ache if you know London and the greater London area of that road. M25's bollocks. Anyway, that's not interesting. So no, I might be ended up staying with Sarah possibly, and if so, trick-or-treaters coming to us. And I've never had a Halloween with Sarah before, which seems bonkers.
That's going to be great.
So that'd be quite cool. So I might be doing that, and I might be missing the kids this year. So, yes. Yep.
Similarly, I'm away. It's my dad's. Shout out to Papa Bone. Not that he listens to the show, but he turned 70. He turned 70 today.
Big Papa B.
Papa Bone.
In a place to be.
And Daddy Bone, and he turned 70 today. He turned 70 today. So next week being half term for the children, I'll be away for a lot of that because it's also my wife's birthday, a few days before Halloween. So I'll be away for my dad, and then I'll be away with my wife, with my in-laws. My in-laws live in a sleepy little suburb where it's a lot of old people in a little cul-de-sac. So the most we might do is go out and terrorise some old people with my twins. Maybe dress them as the Shining twins. Maybe dress them as Chucky and Tiffany.
You can't go to proper trick-or-treating. That's a shame.
I know. To be honest, I still think they're perhaps a bit too young. Last year was fantastic. We stood in the doorway handing out sweets to everybody that came, and my kids absolutely loved it.
I'm gutted. My parents, when I grew up, my parents still live in the same house I grew up. When I grew up, I was the only one dressed up on a fireworks party because I was like, can't we have a Halloween party? So there's me dressed up and no one else. We're looking at fucking fireworks in the sky. It's like, I'm not a zombie. I don't need to look at lights in the sky. Let's have a Halloween party. Nobody give a shit. Now, my parents' street is fucking wild. There's like smoke machines and like loads of fucking illuminations. Just like all the houses doing it. It's like, where's this shit when I was a kid? This is well
I
unfair.
know, Halloween's really jumped up. So what I would say, finally, then, is if anybody is going to any fancy dress parties or doing anything fun, share it on the Facebook page. Let's see your costumes. Let's see what you're dressing as. You know, a lot of people are doing couples themes and stuff like that. I love all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, share it on the Facebook page. We'd love to see what you're dressing as, where you're going. If you've got cool Halloween decorations in your front garden or in your house, share. Let's have a look at what you guys are up to. Yeah, I'd love to see all that stuff.
I am DJing this Saturday at the Halloween party down the Cobbett, local pub. So yeah, that was fun last year.
Give me your top 3 Halloween style
tracks
songs.
For Halloween party, it's all very cliched stuff. It's obviously Ghostbusters. There's obviously going to be Thriller.
Yeah. I got one more, but because I had 3 in my head and you said 2 of them. The other one's got to be the Monster Mash.
Yeah, I would play that early on, but when later on when people are drunk and they come in, I start going into, doing other stuff. I do like the Ghost specials, the Ghost Town, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Shit like that, because you can. But I need to speed it up a bit, so you start going a bit more. I might go some Motorhead, things like that. Nothing particular, but I'm not going to say I'm going to play Hellraiser by Motorhead or anything, but yeah, just do the classics. So you just start going a bit heavier, a little bit here and there, but people like dancing, so you have to start, I don't know. Or I'll try and record my mix, and then we can put it up as a Patreon episode.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
If I can concentrate on doing that.
You've done that before. I've really enjoyed it. You've mixed in John Carpenter's and Argento movies.
I actually will try and do a little Halloween mix again, because I need to practice before Saturday anyway, so I'll try and do something.
Love that shit. All right, well, we are going to go to a trailer now for the final nightmare. Freddy's Dead.
It's not the final nightmare.
It's
spoiler.
Not the final one.
Here we go.
Here we go.
As a boy, he was always different. No one understood him.
You ready for it, boy? It's time to take your medicine.
Thank you, sir.
No one could control him.
Go inside, honey.
But now, it's a new beginning. The beginning of the end for Freddy.
Every town has an Elm Street. Screaming while the bus is in motion. It's your mind to go for. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too.
We're gonna have to hit him with everything we got.
Now I'm playing with power.
We're in Twin Peaks here.
It's gotta be me and him.
You want to live? Maggie, what's up? What's with kids today, huh?
Freddy's Dead. The final nightmare.
Great graphics.
They saved the best for last.
Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. Or is it?
No.
From 1991. Rated R for pirates. It's only an hour and 29 minutes, thankfully.
Wow.
Here we go. Dream haunting Freddy Krueger returns once again to prowl the nightmares of Springfield's. Sorry, not Springfield. That's a different place. Springwood's last surviving teenager, and of a woman whose personal connection to Krueger might be his doom.
Doom.
This is directed by Rachel
Is that how you say her name?
Her name is Rachel Talalalalalay.
I like it.
Wes Craven is listed as a writer, only because he invented the character. And obviously it stars Robert Englund, thankfully. And also has some random people in it, like Breckin Meyer, who you'll recognise from every 90s movie ever.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
This was the first movie he was in. Yaphet Kotto is in this as well, as a cool character called Doc. Johnny Depp pops up.
I just need to point out here, Dan's got IMDb going. I can't activate IMDb, so I'm a little bit blind to stuff, so Dan's going to have to help me out a little bit here.
That's all right. Yeah, Johnny Depp, Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold also all cameo in this. This was supposed to be the final one. This was why they got a few cameos in it, and that's why Johnny shows up in it as well. Obviously, Johnny was in the original, the very first movie. The studio had been banging these out, left, right and centre, New Line Cinema, and they wanted to go out on a big bang. The final act of this is in 3D, which was a big... It made a slight comeback in the late 80s, early 90s. This was 91. And there's a moment in the film where they put on 3D glasses, and that's supposed to be your key as an audience member to put your 3D glasses on and enjoy the last act.
I sat with a couple of people who I mentioned in a moment who it was, for context for the review. And they were like, Jack, it's going to go off. It was like, there's no way it's just going to go fucking red and green lines. That'd be shit. It can't be. There must be another version which has that then comes in. Because I said, if it does, I've got some glasses over there. We could quickly put them on. But there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah, there'll be another print of it, just like with Jaws.
There's not that many people have them glasses lying around. I'm one of those rare people. I bet you have.
I don't think I do anymore.
See? So I'm probably a rarity.
But yeah, obviously this was supposed to be going out with a bang. They wanted to kill Freddy off once and for all, and that was kind of it really. But also, if you knew it was the final one, and the title alone, Freddy's Dead, it doesn't even say Nightmare on Elm Street in the title. They really wanted this to be a special one to end it all, really, because number 5 had made a bit of money. I think number 4 was one of the highest grossing, but 5 was already tailing off a bit. People were getting a bit bored of this franchise and other franchises, but they did bring him back, obviously, and we'll get into that next year. Wes Craven decided to do a really dark the one after this is called Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It's got his name attached to the title, just like all John Carpenter films, and it's a genuinely quite chilling movie, but we'll get into that next year.
And I don't know that one, and I didn't know this one. Is my first time viewing it.
Now, I have a special place in my heart for this one. Obviously, I've realised this when I posted I was watching this. It's got I was getting a lot of online disses and hate. People seem to really detest this movie. Now, I understand that. I think it's a better movie than number 5 in some ways. I think number 5 is just not.
Yeah, 5 wasn't
boring.
No,
but the reason I have a special place in my heart for this one is this was the second one I ever saw. The very first one I ever watched, which I talked about many years ago, was number 1. I watched it when I was 8 years old at a sleepover. Number 1 really got under my skin, and I bloody watched it at the same weekend I watched RoboCop at the age of 8. So that was a terrifying weekend for me, but also it's also what got me into horror and gore that weekend, I think, from the age of 8. Then probably a year or two later, we heard about this one because somebody had told us about the hearing aid scene and the scene with the video games, and somehow we got hold of a copy of this probably about the age of 10, 11, and we watched this. And this was the second one I'd watched, and as a 10-year-old, this movie would be extremely appealing because it's like a 10-year-old's mind bouncing around all over the place from scene to scene.
It is. That's my issue with it.
It's got Nintendo video games in it. It's got silly things happening left, right, and centre, and it's got some great effects. You've got to admit the practical effects are fantastic. They always are. Freddy movies always deliver great special effects.
Well, as we said previously, the last year it's more like it's a spectacle for the effects artists, like a show reel, and I watched it with 2 people, Pete and Tiffany. I'm going to explain why I'm explaining them for context to some of my notes, because they do come into it. Tiffany is originally from America, now living here, and she's been working in the film industry for a long time. Pete is here, he's English, and he's but living in America for a long time. He's an actor, So yes, I watched it with these guys. They said, "Do you want to hang out?" And I was like, "You can hang out with me, but I've got to review a movie, so you're gonna have to just." Yeah, but I said, "You can help me review it, and we just watch it because sometimes I need a bit of help because I get a bit confused because like Sarah likes to help me with things like that because I generally do. You know this, listeners, from listening to this show, like I get a little confused at times. It was my first time viewing.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, unless I just blanked out of my mind and it was on Sky Movies once. There is a slight chance, because they did play all those sort of films.
I think that's how we saw it. Now you said that, you've jogged a memory.
Thursday night at 10 was like Sky, was horror on Sky Movies.
I think someone recorded it for us, I think.
More than likely. Yeah, and I get to it, but my issue was with this, it was literally like every fucking 2 minutes there's another scene. It's like, fucking hell. It's just like, it was like ADHD on crack, mixed with a bit of coke, speedballing, driving fucking 300 miles an hour down the wrong way in a Ferrari.
Well, it was definitely made during the MTV sort of.
Yeah, it's,
you know,
bonkers.
They really went for that.
At the time, you can see, and I can understand where you'd be like, oh, there's loads of stuff, and like you feel quite nostalgic to it. I share there's loads of shit. You're like, oh man, that bit's so good. Oh, I love this bit. And it is, but it's like watching Elijah watch YouTube now. Really, it was just bing, 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 and it was very hard to keep up on. At the first 10 minutes into it, I was like, I'm liking this. And my notes even say I'm quite enjoying this. Then I don't know what happened. It just went like, literally like, come on, no, start editing it like you're fucking insane. Go, okay, edit here, edit there, edit here, edit there. And it's just really hard to keep up on.
Before we get really into it, I think the things it's got going for it are Robert Englund. He's always fun to watch. The special effects, practical effects are great. But I think the other thing it's really got going for it is it really gives you a proper bit of a backstory into Fred Krueger, why he did what he did. And it's actually quite dark when you find out, you know, about his little girl and about what he had in his basement and why he was burnt alive by the parents of Springwood. So it does deliver that quite nicely, because up until this entry in the franchise, it's been very convoluted, hasn't it? You've had babies and dream warriors and dream masters and dream childs and all this stuff, and it's like, just give me a storyline. They don't even have to really all follow on from each other. Like the Jasons don't really. They kind of do, but they don't at the same time. Just give me a group of teenagers, let Freddy, you know, get into their nightmares and rip them apart. But this one actually gives you quite a nice bit of a backstory for Fred Krueger, and it allows Robert Englund to be on screen without his makeup a couple of times as well. Yeah, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it does have those things going for it. I'm not a Freddy fan really. I like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. I think that's the best one. And it does give it a chance for a younger looking Robert Englund to do some actual acting. It's like when Kane Hodder did some acting in Hatchet, you know, without the makeup and stuff. It's quite nice of them to do that.
But you know, before we get into it, it does suffer from too many ideas at the same time.
Throw everything at the wall, but they actually let it all stick, and everything's stuck, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it is technically the last one in some ways, because the next one is a sort of a meta proto Scream movie where it takes place in the real world, where they're writing a new Freddy movie, and Freddy is manifested into the real world. So you've got Wes Craven playing Wes Craven, you've got all the characters playing actually themselves, making this Nightmare on Elm Street movie where Freddy is really, even Robert Englund's in it, and he's like, Freddy's not real, I'm Freddy, but then Freddy comes into the real world. So the next one has got some incredible ideas, very Scream-ish, as I say, and then after that you have the fun Freddy versus Jason. So this is technically the last real proper Freddy movie where he goes into your nightmares and, you know, rips you apart if you're a teenager. And then you've obviously got the remake. So I get why they were throwing loads of shit at the wall and seeing what stuck. But what did stick was just shit, unfortunately. But I still enjoy this movie. And I know a lot of our listeners have voiced their opinion of it on Facebook and to me personally. And a lot of people have said it's not very good. I maintain it's not the worst in the franchise. I maintain it's better than number 5.
Yeah.
That was not a great watch for us. In fact, last year, I can only apologise that you had to listen to us review Halloween 5 and Nightmare on Elm Street 5, two of probably the worst in the franchises both.
It was. I was quite annoyed. It's the only time I would like. We don't have that much time in life to podcast, and we're doing this. There's many a film that needs a conversation. These do not need it. But anyway, we will go through this. Yeah.
Talk about the effects. Talk about some of the storyline. It's absolutely fine.
Let's crack on. There's a strange rock song which opens the film. I say strange. I don't remember now. There's so much happens in this movie. My memory's like... So, but apparently I've put a strange rock song opener. Do you remember the song?
No, I don't remember the song, but I know that there was a lot of metal in this, and bands were excited to have their music on a movie like this because,
of course,
Freddy means money. It's the way it goes. So while that's happening, we get a little title card that comes up and says basically, about a little bit of a backstory about Freddy Krueger, and then it says this all took place in Springwood, and this is 10 years from now, and there are no children left in Springwood. So another really interesting idea is that he's kind of killed off or made all of the children move out of Springwood, so there's only adults living there, which is really interesting. So what's the next thing? He needs to expand his enterprise, and he needs to move out of Springwood, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So
this film could have been a good film if it was just like actual story you could get into, like reading the book, rather than it be like flip, next. Do you know what I mean? Because what you're saying is quite a good concept. Yeah,
totally. And how many horror films or just science fiction have we seen, like Children of Men, where there just aren't any children, anymore because of a reason?
Yeah, and that's quite a good idea. But yeah, it just goes fucking all over the place, so you can't hone in on that one sort of idea and story and point from A to point B. That's the idea. What you just said, that should be nice and simple. Go.
Now we start really with our first character, who's never really named. He's only ever called John Doe, played by Sean Greenblatt, because he can't remember his name. So he's on a plane. He's very anxious about the turbulence. He's really sweaty and worried. It's very Final Destination vibes, actually. This is obviously way before Final Destination. And then there's a little girl that looks over the seat in front of him and says, "You're the last one. He's going to come for you." And then an old lady looks at him, not quite like this, and says, "Don't be a pussy," which is quite fun. And then suddenly the plane just starts ripping apart, and he's sucked out of the plane. And this is where he says, I was almost out of Springwood. I almost made it. No. And he's falling. And then we get a double bluff because he wakes up again in his bed and he thinks, it was just a dream. And he opens the window.
What, Freddy on a fucking broomstick?
Yeah, so it's
my note
Wizard
here
of
is
Oz.
what the shit. Like literally minutes into this film, like what the fuck?
Sure you would know this, but you might not.
No, I've never seen it, and I was like, "What the hell?"
You've never seen The Wizard of Oz?
In a way that at this point, no, I've seen Wizard of... Of course I've seen Wizard of Oz.
Okay, good. Thank fuck.
No, I showed it on the big screen to my kids. We all sat one day and watched it on the projector. It's great.
It's great.
No, it was just like, what the fuck? But I was kind of enjoying this what the fuck at the moment. I could carry on with it at the moment. It wasn't too hard to keep up with.
So he opens his curtains thinking that nightmare's over, but obviously he then realises his house is in the middle of a tornado, still falling through the air. And then, yes, he sees Freddy as the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. And he sort of flies up to the window and he says, "I'll get you, my pretty, you and your soul." And it's like just Robert Englund having a fucking blast.
Flight of the Bumblebees starts playing, and it's just like, I was like, what the hell? We do also, a little note comes up that says Brian May did the music for this, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't that Brian May there, don't worry. Which is really strange because
Brian May does do the odd score here and there, though. That's the thing.
But this isn't the Queen Brian May. This is,
but I mean the Queen one does, yeah.
So Brian May from Queen has had people over the years ask him, "How come you got involved in the final nightmare? The final, what's going on?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And then he realised there just happens to be another Brian May out there working in films, mainly horror. So yeah, it's different Brian May. It would have been a very cool rock song had it been Brian May at the beginning. Imagine that.
Adam Green, random bit of trivia. used to go to a film studio to try and have interviews, meetings, and they could never get on set. They'd always be like, no, you're not allowed in, off. And he's like, what the fuck? And he found out there's another Adam Green who's like banned. And it's just that, you know.
Fuck's sake, doppelgangers. So this John Doe guy wakes up again for the second time.
Also, at this point here, it's felt very Sam Raimi.
Yeah, it does feel some Evil Dead-ish.
At the moment, I was like, it's Final Destination and Sam Raimi. I'm kind of enjoying this at the moment.
Now, the reason Gav's saying that, I think, listeners, is because I almost called you Jack then, my son.
You have before.
I know, and I call Jack Gav sometimes. It's because I love you both so much. And I've changed both your nappies constantly.
True.
The reason I think Gav's saying the Sam Raimi influence is it's very kinetic, the way that the camera is moving, and that's that MTV. And Sam Raimi invented that style. You know, that's why he's in my top 3 horror directors of all time. He hasn't done an awful lot, but Sam Raimi is solely responsible for that style, that Raimi crash, bang, wallop, zoom lens, this, that, and the other. And it does have a lot of that going on in this, particularly in this opening scene. And our John Doe now wakes up again, and he's outside the Kruger house on Elm Street, the wrecked house. He trips, he falls down a hill. It goes on for a very long time of him rolling down this hill. And then he kind of wakes up and, sits up, and he's on a road, and Freddy's driving a bus at him, laughing. Crashes into John. John's now on the front of the bus, and then we get a really random bit where he sort of does a Wile E. Coyote from the Looney Tunes and sort of smashes through the reality into a different reality. So from the dream reality
like
into a real reality.
Screen. Again, I was going, I kind of like this at the moment. It's really batshit crazy, and it's okay.
And then Freddy sort of looks through the hole at the guy lying on the floor and says, "Go get him. Fetch. There's a good dog." And basically what we understand now is that this is the last teenager from Springwood. He's trying to escape Springwood. Freddy's managed to get into his nightmare, and he sent him out of Springwood to go fetch and get me more teenagers, because I cannot get enough of getting into young teenagers' heads and then sucking them into their waterbeds. I was thinking about Nightmare on Elm Street 1 the other day, and I was thinking that scene with Johnny Depp where he gets sucked into his waterbed and then, you know, exploded all over the city, probably the second worst thing he's ever had happen to him in his bed.
Probably, I think Amber Turd's probably it was probably that small little one, wasn't it?
I thought someone somewhere probably made that joke as well, but I thought I had to say that on the episode because
imagine it when she was there, sort of crouched down, going, "I know what I'm going to fucking do," and like gets up there, takes her underwear off or whatever, crouches down, and just and just, you know.
But when you're Johnny Depp and you're just sort of smoking your weed and drinking your rum and whatever you do, you've probably got you've got a lot of money and you've got a very clean apartment.
It's probably not the craziest thing's happened to him, to be honest.
When you pull your sheets back for your bed and you're Johnny Depp and you've had a hard day working on Pirates of the Caribbean 12,
what's
the last thing you expect is
that turd?
Amber,
have you been shitting in the bed again?
And also, she's like a gorgeous woman. Like, the last thing you'd expect from her to do is to do a big poo in his bed.
If she'd filmed that, I bet she could have made a load of money for that video.
Oh yeah, I bet she would. I wouldn't have watched it.
I wouldn't have watched it either.
Wouldn't you?
No.
I was joking. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't have watched it. Anyway, so back to the movie. John Doe. So he wakes up and he's in Springwood. He's only got a couple of dollars in his pocket, probably about $20. It looks like, and that's the end of the opening, really. So here we go. We kind of know now that this is the last teenager. Like I say, he's out of Springwood.
And this was probably minutes. This is probably seconds that all this happened, because it's like, oh my God. Like, okay. Right, now let's start. Like, I'm not going to remember any of this, but okay, here we go.
So we cut to Breckin Meyer, who again, he's been in all the 90s movies. You'll know him. He plays Spencer, and he's in a school, and his dad is giving
you're about a road trip.
Yeah, he's in Road Trip.
I'm going to call him Road Trip.
Clueless, a bunch of movies. Honestly, he's been in so many things. Call him Road Trip if you want. So Road Trip's dad is telling him off because he's failing at school, and he says it looks like it's some kind of boarding school, and he says to him, if you don't pull your socks up, you're going to go to the army. They love sending the kids to the army, like in Chucky 3. What's that? You're not doing well?
80s parenting, isn't it?
Just get in the goddamn army, kid.
Yeah.
So we meet him. We also meet Maggie, who is a teacher / sort of counselor of teenagers. Maggie is played by Lisa Zane. She says to Road Trip, look, I believe in you. I know that you can do well. Don't worry about your dad. So that's that little bit as well. And we also briefly meet a girl called Tracy. Every Freddy movie has to have a girl usually doing kung fu, sometimes a boy. Tracy is our kung fu girl. Just so our listeners know, guys, she will be coming back at certain points throughout the movie doing kung fu on Freddy Krueger, because kung fu was big in the late 80s and early 90s, and it comes up a lot in Freddy Krueger movies. Yeah. There's always a ninja or someone doing kung fu, and I always like to have a bit of kung fu in my movies, so we're happy with that. So 2 cops outside see John Doe, and they think he's some kind of junkie, so they bring him into this sort of place for teenagers. I guess it's not a school, it's more like a place where they're trying to help teenagers get back on the right tracks. I don't know what you'd really call that.
Rehabilitation centre.
But Yaphet Kotto works there, as we'll find out soon.
Yeah,
which is
dude
great.
from Alien and Live and Let Die.
If Yaphet Kotto was my school counsellor, I would be president of the world right now. That man is incredible. I love him. He's a great actor. And an incredible voice.
As soon as he came into it, my next note is enjoying the film.
Of course. Tracy also has a friend called, is it Carlos, the deaf guy? He's deaf.
I don't know.
And this is now, we see Tracy in the boxing gym. She's working out, and she starts giving Carlos a load of shit, and he takes his hearing aid out so he can't hear her.
That's what I've always thought. My dad was issued a hearing aid. He won't fucking wear it. So the whole time he can't really hear. And I was like, I know, because he can't be fucked to do anything. He had a long-time friend message me through Facebook and said, oh my God, is that your dad? And I was like, yeah, oh my God, I've known your dad. And I told my dad, and my dad's like, can't be fucked, don't care. What? I don't care. Well, don't you reply to him? Nah. And this guy was heartbroken. And so I've got my theory is that he won't get the hearing aid because then he can hear everything again, and it'd rather just be denial of everything.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is supposed to wear hearing aids, and she barely does.
Yep.
So we'll be sat there on an evening, and she just doesn't tune into the conversation. She just can't be bothered. She's playing Candy Crush, drinking wine in the corner, and we're just like, what do you think of that? Oh, don't worry, she's not listening to us.
Going around seeing my uncle the other day, he's like 92 or something like that. He's the one that I got into films with, and he's got his film collection and that. And I was chatting to him, he's got some Steven Seagal, and I was like, no, he's got some Seagal in there. And I was going through his movies.
Yeah,
but I was chatting about one thing, and he looked at me and just started talking about something totally different. My mum's like, no, we're talking about this. I had to shout at him. He talked to me about something totally different. I was like, what the fuck?
So quickly then with Tracy, she's doing her workout in the gym, further proving that she's a kung fu girl, and she's got a good friendship with Spencer, who we've already met, and Carlos, who is the deaf kid. Carlos makes a note, a little comment. He says, the last time I disobeyed my parents, I ended up with a disability, and basically says somehow, and we will see it later on, somehow his parents were the ones responsible for him losing his hearing, which is quite dark, and it is a dark scene when we find out what happened to him as well. Yes, and then we meet Yaphet Kotto. So Gav's now enjoying the movie. So Yaphet Kotto plays Doc in this, not Doc Brown. That would have been a great movie if Yaphet Kotto was in Back to the Future, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. And it would have been Bill Paxton as Marty McFly. Oh, imagine that. That would have been so good. So we see a poster in, they're discussing, so Yaphet Kotto is in charge of helping the kids, and he says, I've got a new idea about how to help these kids, and I think we can do something called dream therapy, where we can help them access what they're dreaming about, and this will really help them in unlocking their potential and, getting back on the right tracks. This is all bad news in a Nightmare on Elm Street film. He's got a big poster on his wall, like a big picture of, and he talks about this to Maggie. He
demons.
says, this is the dream demon. These big snakes represent these dream demons, and basically they can they've got power to make dreams a reality. Now, spoiler, it turns out that these demons are the ones that actually gave Fred Krueger his power years ago, even though they look like weird little demon sperms towards the end of the movie. And that must have been terrifying in 3D, having giant sperms flying at your face.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so he's got this idea about dream therapy. Can't be good in this kind of movie. Then they bring in John Doe and they examine him. And he says, look, I haven't slept in about 3 days. I don't know who I am. Can't remember anything. All I can tell you is I think I was the last of wherever I'm from. And he said, what does that mean? And he says, I don't really know, but I need to stay awake. I need to stay awake for as long as possible or I'll die. Get me some coffee, get me some caffeine, get me some sugar. So that's John Doe. Little flashback for us now.
I love that he's in the bed dorm with the other lads and he's singing away 99 bottles, but doing it fucking 99 million bottles or whatever. And they're like, shut up! Throwing pillows at him.
So annoying. A little flashback, just briefly, of old Frederick Krueger in his garden, and he's playing with a little girl. And then we hear a scream, and then the flashback's kind of over. So we'll revisit this, and it'll extend and extend and extend until we see the full context of this as the movie goes on.
I've got my note here. Peter's struggling with it, jumping all over the place. Not long after my note saying I quite enjoying it, he was already struggling. I looked at him and he was just, oh my fucking God.
Now John is lying in his bed, John Doe, and blood starts dripping on him from the ceiling, and he realises, God damn it, I'm in a dream. I've fallen asleep, and this is a dream. And he sees a little girl, and he says, tell me who I am.
That is the fun. Sorry to cut you off. That is the fun, and also the bad thing about Nightmare on Elm Street movies. You don't know what's real and what's a dream, so you can't ever be actually terrified, like scared, because you're like, oh, it's probably just a dream. But the fun of it is the fact that he can only get you in a dream, so it has to be dreams all the time, because that's the crux of his killings way of he kills, his MO, so to speak. So I think that's also to its detriment at the same time, though, because you start to get like, a dream, is it real, is it dream, is it real? And it comes a bit tiring.
With these movies, it's got to be less is more. In the first
it has to be
3 films,
not so many dreams. Have it more of an actual event when it happens, rather than just go.
The first 2, part 1 and part 2, they only had a couple of nightmare sequences. We actually saw what was happening to the people who were asleep while other people who were awake were watching them, and that, because it was less sequences, it was more terrifying. And then the third one needed to go crazy because it was the Dream Warriors, and they went into the dream to fight Freddy, and that was badass and cool. And then I think 4 and 5 kind of slips a little bit because it was too much.
So I like 2. Part 1 establishes. Part 3, they're starting to get into proper lore, and it's more, they start to really develop 3. But part 2 feels like it's the in-between. Not really. It's like Freddy he's there. He's more of an evil presence. He's not really an actual person yet. It's just still a scary entity. And you don't know much about him unless it's more again, It's more frightening it is. I quite like that, I think.
Part 2 is incredible. And obviously, as the years have gone on, a lot of people have really realised that is one of the best entries for a lot of reasons. Obviously, it's a queer-coded film. It's a lot of the characters, the actors in that, especially the gayness in it. Yeah, it's got loads of stuff, and it's almost a metaphor for coming out as well, and it's got a lot going on for it. And as 2 straight men, we can still really enjoy that. And
none of them really
spooky
knew,
and creepy.
did they?
No,
so I feel like that must be some sort of joke. You must have all known.
Well, the actors, they are gay. The actors in it, some of them, and so they would have kind of have been having a snigger, probably, like, this is quite funny that we can do this, but over the years it's been celebrated as a queer horror film, which is great, and it's still one of the best entries in way ahead of its time in many ways. Go back and watch part 2, guys.
I borrowed the box set, Blu-ray box set from Ben to watch this, actually, so I'm looking forward to watching that. Funny enough, he also lent me the Halloween box set, because I used to have the Halloween 6, but his box set says the ultimate box set, right? And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. And it missed 6, and it's like, that's really weird.
That is weird.
I wonder if it's some rights certain somewhere else, because obviously you had the producer's cut, and no other movie had a producer's cut, so I reckon the producers might have had more rights, and they're like, nope, you're not having that film for your collection. I don't know.
That's so annoying. So back to John Doe. He's in this dream, and he sees a little girl who says, and it turns out that, again, spoilers, but this little girl is Freddy's little girl, and she says to him, I won't tell. And he's like, tell me who I am. She says, I won't tell. He follows her, and then he sees himself in a padded cell. He wakes up and then breaks a window, and sort of everybody in the institute is like, oh, Christ, this guy's crazy. What's going on here? So Maggie takes him off.
The guard through the window.
Yeah, that's sorry. Yeah, he pushes
so
the
he's
guard
standing
through
there, and
the
the
window.
guard sort of kind of grabs him, and he pushes backwards. If I was that guard, I would have been fucking livid. And he's like, oh, kid. And it's just like, what? If I was pushed through a window, I'd be so unhappy.
By a sleepwalking teenager.
Yeah, and it just, and as soon as it happens, he says asshole to the kid, and then the edit is cut straight away, and it's just straight away. Then I was like, man, this seems, why is that cut so, because I edit films, why is that cut so sharply? And I think they probably had really longer cuts of this film, which was better. And then they're like, no, chop. So it's a shame nowadays with long form content, you could probably watch a longer version and get more into the film. Yeah. Possibly, I don't know.
Well, Maggie sits John Doe down and asks him about his dream. She asks him about his memory or lack of memory. And she then reveals she's been having the same nightmare or same dream about a little girl as well. And she says, I've got an idea. I think we need to go on a road trip to jog your memory. And he's like, I don't know if I really want to jog my memory. She's like, no, we're going to go to Springwood. So I got a feeling that's where we're going to get some answers.
Why? Why are they always just going to go back there?
Don't go back there. That's like saying, let's go back to Camp Crystal Lake and see if we can find out what's going on.
Let's go back to where you had your trauma, and like you wouldn't do that. Or let's just take a van from the institute, and then we just go. No one else to come with us, just me and you. Surely you'd have another person there too. It's just, I don't know.
When I watched this movie, I had a bit of a crush on Lisa Zane, who plays Maggie Burrows. I would have gone anywhere with her at the age of 12 or whatever I was.
Wow.
Probably still would now.
Yeah, but go anywhere with the pedo, the lady.
Jesus. So they arrive at Springwood. They nearly crash the van. They swerve, and all of a sudden it's revealed that Spencer, Tracy, and Carlos have hitched a ride for shits and giggles in the back of the van. And they're like, what the fuck are you all doing in here? Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble with Doc, with Japhet Kotto. I'm not even supposed to take this one out, and I've got all four of you here. This is ridiculous. So yeah, she's brought 4 teenagers to Springwood, which is great because Freddie is.
She just puts her foot in a brake a bit in the van. They go, and all these kids come out at the same time. So here they are. And it's, I do like when they pop into town. There's a circus in town. There's literally no kids. It's just old people on the rides. I thought that was a really creepy thing.
Again, yeah, going back to what I said at the start, no children.
That's quite cool. See, that's good.
And it's like that sort of Children of the Corn or Village of the Damned type thing. So they get there, and like Gav says, there's a carnival happening, and they're like, oh, cool, a carnival, clowns, rides, and then everyone's staring at them because they're under the age of like 21 or whatever, and they're young, and they sort of, one of them says, hang on a minute, have you noticed there's no children here?
It's just like one old bloke on a bumper cart's going round and round by himself.
And then Roseanne, racist Barr, comes over and says, oh my God, children, I love you so much. You're going to come live with me. I'll look after you. Come and live with me. Come and live with me. He'll never find you. I promise. It'll never happen again. And you're like, what?
Why is this cameo even in this? And then Tom Arnold, her at-the-time husband, comes out and starts chatting away.
He says to her, for God's sake, woman, we don't want to be around kids, it attracts him. If there's kids around, he'll be coming for him. Leave him alone. Come on. And he sort of drags her off.
And that's
caveman style.
Tiff told me that she worked on a movie with Tom Arnold. She said one day he came up to her really, really sweaty and he wanted a ham sandwich. Can I have a ham sandwich? I need a ham sandwich. Wow.
And Sharon Stone said, here is a ham sandwich for you, Tom.
Sharon Stone showed him a ham sandwich.
Now, there's a great line here where one of them says, after this Roseanne incident, one of them looks at the other one and says, I feel like we're in Twin Peaks here, which is a great little quote, really.
Yeah.
So Maggie says to Spencer, Carlos, and Tracy, right, you guys get in the van and drive back to the Institute. I don't know why, because I don't know how her and John Doe are going to get back. But she says, just go back before there's any more trouble. Me and John are going to go and have a look around this spooky town with no children where Roseanne Barr could accost us at any time. So they get in the van. Carlos finds a map.
When's the point of one from smoking? And the lady says, stop smoking.
Spencer's smoking. This is now.
And she says, go on.
You got to go for it.
Well, she says, well, stop smoking. He says, it makes me relax. And she says, I can make you relax with these 2 fingers. At that point there, I was like, okay, so what are you going to do to make him relax with them 2 fingers? And she actually means to stab him in the neck.
Yeah, with her pressure points, because she's a full-blown martial artist.
I thought she was going to put it up his bum, and I don't know if that would actually relax him. Depends on who you are.
Well, we've seen it happen to Stifler in one of the American Pie movies. So
when I was watching Return of the Living Dead the other day, I was just like, oh my God, ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh.
Damn
enchiladas.
It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic scene. So when they're in the van and they're smoking, they're telling Spencer to quit smoking weed, and Carlos says, "I don't want a hit of it. I've already got 1 sense missing. I need all my senses I've got."
How have they? This movie's so much is cut out of this. Have those kids now stolen the van?
No, she told them to go back.
Right. Okay.
She told them to go back. So they're in the van. Much. And we get a fantastic Blair Witch moment now where they're driving and trying to get out of the town of Springwood, and every time they drive, they end up back in the same spot.
She's trusted
to get out.
The kids have hitched their own way there to just take the van back to where they were busting out of.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's a very trusting teacher, isn't it?
Now, Maggie sees a huge chalk drawing of Freddy on the road and sort of looks at that and goes, this is weird. And John's like, I recognise that man. Now, in the van, back to the van, they're stuck, like I said, they're stuck in a loop. And they say to Carlos, can you get the map and tell us what it says on the map? And he starts unfolding the map, and the map just keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding until he's kind of drowning in paper in the back of the van. And he eventually finds a little bit of the map that says, you're fucked on it. Well, I always loved this bit as a kid. Because then he wakes up, he realises...
You make it sound a lot more fun than it was watching.
So he wakes up and then realises that map bit was all a dream. And Tracy says to him, for God's sake, Carlos, did you fall asleep? What does the map say? And he says, the map says we're fucked. And it's just a great little moment because that's literally what the map had said in his dream. Someone had written on it, we're fucked. So Spencer says, I'll drive. Let me have a go at getting us out of this town.
There's another scene we see a teacher just teaching no one. I presume they do this delusional all day long. Like,
yeah,
go there and do it, which is quite a creepy thing if you could just keep with this more, I feel.
Yeah, because Maggie and John, they enter the school. Obviously, there's no children in the town of Springwood anymore. And they enter the school, and as Gav said, there's a teacher. They see him. There's just empty chairs. And he's addressing the whole class. He's saying, and that's why chapter 1 of... and there's no one there. And then he starts saying, this is Freddy 101. And he's teaching no one about Freddy. So they go in the room. He doesn't seem to notice them initially. And they do notice that there's loads of newspaper clippings of children that have gone missing or murdered all around Springwood. And then they see a little bit of paper that said Freddy had a kid that was taken from him. So they're getting a bit more backstory on Freddy now. The teacher kind of speaks to them a little bit, but he's a frightening man with a big stick in his hand, so they don't hang around too long there. It's night time, and the van is still driving around. They still can't get out of Springwood.
No.
So they find an empty house. Oh boy, they picked the wrong house, Gav, haven't they? So they said, let's go inside this old abandoned house for shelter for the night. When they enter the house, it turns into the Elm Street house. They don't see this, of course, but the outside of the house kind of transforms, and they've accidentally walked into Freddy's house. Oh dear. So they explore the house. They all go off in separate directions. Oh dear. And Carlos finds a bed upstairs, and he says, brilliant, I'll take a nap. A nap? Are you serious? Like you're lost?
Yeah.
And now's the time to take a nap?
Yeah.
On an old dusty bed? Anything could have happened on?
And he bangs the dust a bit, and you're like, I don't know, you either don't bang it and just kind of get on there and try not to breathe that dust in. If you have to just go to sleep on some skanky old bed, or bang the dust out of there and leave the room and go back in and get a Hoover, dust it, fucking knock the sheets out. But yeah, you don't want to be sleeping.
Don't get me wrong. If
I've
he's
slept
drunk,
in all sorts of places.
I was going to say, I've been at house parties in some terrible places and just slept on anything sometimes because I've been far too inebriated to bother caring where I'm sleeping. I woke up naked in a tent once in someone's back garden. I didn't know where my clothes had gone, and it turns out my girlfriend at the time, her friend's mum, had undressed me because I'd been sick all over myself after too many tequila shots. It was a cowboy and Native American party, and I was a cowboy, and I'd been dared to do loads of tequila shots, but I was also chewing tobacco, which is incredibly strong, and smoking cigars, and it made me incredibly sick. I'd passed out and vomited all over myself, apparently, and that meant a 60-year-old woman had to undress me, a 25-year-old man, down to my pants. And I woke up in a tent in someone's back garden. So, yeah, I've slept in some terrible places.
Yeah.
Now, Carlos is asleep, which means it's dream time. And we get his backstory about how he lost his hearing. So he's walking along. It's a weird place, lots of people down a back alley. And then he hears, "Carlos, come here, boy." And it's his mum. She gives him a good slap around the face. And then she says, "You don't listen to me. I think I'll need to clean out your ears." And she pulls out the biggest Q-tip, or cotton bud as we call them in the UK, that you've ever seen. It's probably about a foot long. And it's actually Freddy. She turns into Freddy, and she shoves this Q-tip into Carlos's ear. Now, this is a bit of I can't imagine how much it must hurt, because sometimes if I'm cleaning my ears with a Q-tip or a cotton bud and you push it in too much, it hurts, doesn't it? But imagine this going all the way into your brain.
Yeah.
And then he pulls it out the other side, which is, not really realistic, but this is a dream. And then he cuts off his ear, and then he can't hear anything. We just hear, there's a cool sound production now where there's loads of muted sound.
It's enhanced. Everything's really enhanced for him, isn't it?
Well, that's in a moment. That's when he gives him the...
Yeah.
So first of all, he's dead. Then he falls into a boiler room, and then Freddy throws his ear back down to him with his hearing aid on it, and he puts it on. But the hearing aid is now like a demon sort of monster hearing aid.
It's like it goes to Spinal Tap 11. It's amplified.
So all the drips and all the steam are deafening him because it's all so loud. And then Freddy goes, shh. He drops a pin.
And he catches it.
He catches it, yeah.
But then he drops a load of pins, and yeah.
And then there's a really cool practical effect where Freddy appears next to him with a little tiny chalkboard, and he stretches it out and stretches it out. And it's like a magician's trick. It's all in screen. And he does and does and does it until it's a normal size chalkboard. And then he gets his claws and he goes all down. Now, everyone hates that noise anyway.
Good one with Freddy because of his claws.
Yeah. And Carlos' nose starts bleeding, but the louder this claws go, his head just explodes. And then Freddy gives one of his classic one-liners. He says, "Nice hearing from you, Carlos," which I think is just so good. And yeah, Carlos is dead. His head exploded in his dream, and that's the end of Carlos. So
we find Road Trip sitting on a sofa, hallucinating from smoking a joint. Don't know how this happens.
I think he's having a bit of a whitey, isn't he? He's done a bit too much.
I don't know. I still don't know how you hallucinate like this. And he's watching like an old TV, but he's watching actually cars on the TV, which is quite incredible, really.
Yeah, Tracy finds the hearing aid, and she thinks, well, where the hell's Spencer? Where the hell's Carlos then? And like you say, Spencer is really stoned watching Soul. All I can say is he's watching souls on TV. There's just loads of souls. They're going, "Help me!" And then one of the souls is Carlos, and he's like, "Hey, man. Hey, Spencer. Come on, man. Are you stoned again? Wake up, man. Freddy's here. He's got me. He's already got me, man." And Spencer's just like, "Hey, Carlos, how did you get on the TV?" And then he starts falling asleep. Cut back to Maggie and John briefly. They're in the school. They see another teacher with in another class, and she remembers them. She says, "I remember you two. You're something to do with Freddy Krueger." And And then John twigs. He says, and this is kind of a nice sort of red herring here, because John says, it's me. I'm Freddy Krueger's son. That's what the link is. But obviously it's actually going to be Maggie that is Freddy Krueger's daughter. Yeah. So it's quite a nice little red herring, and one of the few things that this film does right, really, is it throws the audience off briefly. So Tracy goes back outside with the van, and she says to Maggie and John, look, Carlos is missing. Spencer's wasted on the sofa. You got to come and help me. So they go back to the house, the crazy Krueger house. Now Spencer's watching TV, and here we get Johnny Depp pop up for a little cameo. Now, we didn't get this commercial in the UK, but there was a very famous commercial in the US, which was, this is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on drugs. And they fry an egg, and it was kind of to put kids off doing drugs. And that's obviously what Johnny Depp does. He cracks an egg and says, this is your brain on drugs, which is ironic because Johnny Depp's known for doing quite a lot of drugs in his heyday.
Is this still representative of weed, though? Because this guy's hallucinating. He's only smoked joints.
I think the commercials were more about like
they would have been aimed at obviously
heroin.
Yeah, that other stuff. Yeah, the
speedballs that Johnny and River Phoenix love doing together.
You kind of want to make this other kid a bit more of a junkie, though. You know?
I know. Well, weed always gets a bad rap. I mean, weed is still a drug, but it's not the drug that people make out it is in some movies and TV shows. No. It's like it's as relaxing as a cigarette, or you know, it can make you feel like a good strong coffee or whatever you want from it, really. Yeah. You know, but that's it. But it's certainly not going to kill you. But anyway, Johnny does his thing, and then Freddy pops up behind him with the frying pan and smashes his face in, which is fun. And then we get a Beavis and Butthead scene.
Yeah, with Freddy, which was quite funny. And then Road Trip goes into Mario Land world, doesn't he? Because he falls asleep.
Yeah, he gets pulled into the TV.
It's basically Mario Land.
Just as the others arrive, so they don't see him, and he's in a video game, and he's a little character in basically like a Mario Brothers type game. And Freddy's the controller. He's got the controller, and he says it's his dad is the final boss, and his dad used to beat him up, or he says, be like me, be more like me. So he's got to fight his dad in this game, and then Freddy says all these quotes from Nintendo, like, now you're playing with power, which is a Nintendo quote from the 80s and 90s.
I think you could get the power glove as well, Nintendo
power glove. Get the power glove, yeah, because he says, I've got the power glove, and it's obviously his claws are part of it as well. So it's quite a fun sequence.
This is a movie of its time.
Yeah, very much. In the real world, we see Spencer, who's obviously in his dream, and he's bouncing up and down, headbutting the ceiling. It looks mental, really. It doesn't look that. I think when I watched this as a kid, that was amazing, but it's not done as well now. And he starts headbutting a brick wall, bouncing up and down. And then there's a Nintendo version of Freddy on the screen, starts beating him up as well. And John Doe says, hey, it's all right, I know what to do. I'll go into his dream and help him, because Spencer's currently smashing into ceilings and walls. So he's like, how are you going to do that? And he says to Tracy, knock me out. And she's like, what? And he's like, knock me out. So she gives him an almighty uppercut, Kung Fu Girl. Yeah. And he goes flying through the air, lands on a table and vanishes, and he's gone into the dream world. And then she appears instantly, and he's like, what? How are you in here? She's like, told you there are easier ways of doing it. I can meditate.
What is she going to do? Fucking all of a sudden go, right, I'm about to teach you to meditate. They need to get in there right now. So I like her idea, but his idea works for him. Her idea works for her.
I love it. I love that she just knocks him out. It's brilliant. So they all try and fight Freddy, and they fall down. He falls downstairs into a hole. Spencer falls downstairs into a hole and seems to die. And then we see his soul leave his body, a bit like Mortal Kombat. And Freddy grabs it and sucks another soul. And he's collecting these souls. So it's Tracy's turn now. What does she do? She gets her Kung Fu out. So she starts Kung Fu-ing Freddy. But Maggie wakes her up before anything can really go down. And it turns out that John's still alive, so they drag John into the van and they drive off. So all that's left now is John Doe, Maggie the teacher, and Tracy the Kung Fu Girl. And they drive off. And John is still in a bit of a dream. He's in the house, which now blasts off into space. I don't know why his dreams involve his house being up in the sky.
At this point, I'm completely like, it's just too much to take in.
Then his bed catches fire. He jumps out of a window, and then Freddy cuts the parachute ropes, and he says, I know who you are. You're my father. And Freddy's like, I ain't your daddy, son. And he cuts the ropes of the parachute.
It's kind of cool. He falls onto a bed of nails. So that's kind of cool.
He says to him, but you did bring me my daughter. And it's a really cool scene because as he's falling, we get this hilarious Looney Tunes style moment where Freddy peeps into the frame of the screen, and then he drags out this huge bed of nails, like something that the coyote would do. And the kid lands on the bed of spikes and dies in real life. But as he's dying, he manages to speak a little bit, but to them he sort of says, "I know," but he never manages to quite say what it is and tell Maggie that she's the daughter. And then his soul flies away as well. So that just leaves our two girls, Maggie and Kung Fu Tracy. He somehow enters Maggie's body now, Freddy, which is...
I don't know.
Hello.
I've checked out already.
So they drive off, and Maggie, they get back, and Maggie tells her boss that the kids all ran away. And he says, "What kids?" And she says, Spencer. She's trying to basically cover herself. She's like, Spencer, Carlos. And he's like, none of those names have ever checked into this institute, Maggie. What on earth are you talking about? And it all seems a bit off. It's like they've been erased. And they actually say Freddy isn't just killing people, he's erasing them from existence. So Tracy goes to tell Yaphet Kotto what's happened. And he's like, well, I'm the only one that, I don't know why, I'm the only one that remembers because I'm Yaphet fucking Kotto.
He's wasted in this, though, isn't he? He's not in it very much at all.
He is, but he's a good, big sort of name to get in it, He carries a certain weight and presence. But he says, the reason I remember these children that have vanished and been erased is because this is the worst line in it, and it's delivered by Yaphet Kotto. This is supposed to explain everything. He says, there's a reason I remember them. I can control my dreams.
Right.
I just don't buy that at all. It's just like...
Another problem with this, because they chopped it down so quickly. For the time, like you say, it's definitely in the era of kids watching MTV and it being like that. So that's what they're going for. Absolutely no doubt. Make it more like MTV. You can imagine the producer saying to the editors, going, okay. The thing is, there's quite often, there's no establishing shots outside of where they are. So they jumps into a scene and they're talking. You're like, where are they? So you're a little behind trying to play catch up. For me, for my first time viewing, at times I don't know where they are now. Where are they now? Okay,
And the problem is that these movies weren't made to be broken down 35 years later.
No.
They were made to get bums in seats, eat popcorn, done.
Yeah, and the home video market, I suppose, at this point.
Yeah, and people might have revisited them a few times, and then the next one would come out. And
kids
then
watch them over and over and over and over, I'm sure.
But either way, he can control his dreams. We get a small flashback now of Maggie, and it turns out Maggie has got some childhood trauma. Could they be linked? Could the Freddy flashbacks and the Maggie flashbacks be linked? Ooh, we'll find out in a moment, dear sweet listeners.
Maybe.
She goes to see her mum to ask her mum, what can you tell me about Dad, that kind of thing. Tracy's in the boxing gym working out, and Yaphet Kotto's in there, and he's like, you got to prepare your body and prepare your mind as well. It's like the Karate Kid at this point.
It is, yeah.
Must learn balance, Daniel, son. You might as well just say that to her.
We don't see him at any point. He's never done any fight with Freddy, or so we just established that he knows everything about it. But he's not going to join them or anything, or he's actually going to help them. He's just going to teach them, and you go do it.
Tracy goes to sleep, and we get more of the garden flashback with Freddy. Freddy's wife, Fred Krueger's wife, has found something in the basement. She's horrified about it. And she says to Freddy, I won't tell anyone what I found. And he's like, okay. And the little girl starts skipping around the garden, and he says, come with me, wifey. And he takes his wife over. And the little girl, seeing the basement door opens, decides to go down into the basement. And this is where the little girl, who is Maggie, finds the murder shrine, the child murder shrine that Fred Krueger seems to have in his basement. He's got a glove with knives on it. He's got newspaper cuttings and things he's collected from all the children he's killed over the however long it's been. And Maggie is in it as herself, as an adult in this dream, but in a child's dress as she relives it, which is a bit weird, but it happens. She finds out her real name was Catherine. And then she hears a voice say, "They took you away from me."
It's an exhausting film to keep up with.
And then he says, "Every town has an Elm Street." And then she wakes up. And there's a flashback with her dad being abusive to her. Sorry, this is Tracy now. Tracy has a flashback to her dad. It's awful again, really dark child abuse. Like, he walks in and he's like, "Come and give your daddy some honey." And she beats him to death with a kettle. And this is why Tracy is such a badass kung fu, is because she killed her dad with a kettle, basically, who was sexually abusing her. Fair play to her for doing that. The kettle, of all things. And his face is all mushed in, and then he turns into Freddy, so she kung fu's him a bit more. And then she wakes up and she says, "Let's go talk to Doc," because Doc will know what to... Yaphet Kotto's always got the answers. Let's go see him. And Doc, Freddy faces Doc.
When they go into the room, in the background there's a Christian Hossai skateboard sitting in the back, which is
nice.
Which is a really fucking cool board. It's very well known in the skateboard world. And I was like, sweet, look at that motherfucker. That was exciting for the moment for me.
Doc gets a baseball bat and smashes Freddy in the face. And Freddy says, the dream demons are the ones that gave me my power. And then an alarm clock wakes up just in time. So he's gone in and done his own investigating, Yaphet Kotto, into the dream world, and realised, okay, now I know where he got his powers from. I'll get together with Maggie and Tracy and we'll sort this guy out. So they say to him, "Well, what's the plan?" He says, "Well, I think we can pull him out. If one of us is holding him when we wake up, we'll pull him into the real world, and then he's mortal, and then we can kill him." Now, this has been done in the past, where they brought his hat back and things like that. So this is kind of a staple of the lore. Maggie says, "Well, I'll be the dreamer." And Yaphet Kotto says, "Well, you'll need something." And all the people currently in the audience in 1991 are wondering, why the fuck have they given me 3D glasses with my popcorn? Well, this is the reason. Because Yaphet Kotto says there's one thing you can use when you're in the dream world that will give you power. It could just be a normal thing. Oh, here, try these 3D glasses. When you put these on in the dream world, they'll give you powers. And that is the sign for everybody watching this in the theatres with 3D glasses to put them on when she puts them on, because the last 25 minutes of this is all in 3D.
So this was a debate now while watching the film. It's like, are we going to have to put... And I said, I've got some if necessary, but they wouldn't do that because that would be really mean to everybody else that doesn't have them.
Yeah, because me and you watched Friday the 13th Part 3.
We tried to, but it gave me a headache, so we stopped.
Yeah. And I did watch Jules 3D on television. They gave away
when they gave them away in the TV guide.
Yeah,
I watched that. I remember watching it and couldn't watch it. I was too scared.
It was on BBC One, and the Radio Times magazine had.
Yeah, man.
You could get your 3D glasses.
I'm surprised you remember that, because when it happened, it was a long time ago.
Well, they were doing such a promotion about it. They were giving them away in Kellogg's cornflakes.
I must have been about
well.
6. You must have been about 5.
Yeah, I do remember it.
Yeah,
and it just didn't really work.
So we watched the same movie that night.
How funny!
Yeah.
So yeah, she puts on the glasses, and the dream demon poster sort of becomes alive. With the snakes on it that we mentioned earlier. She walks into it, and she's sort of inside Freddy's mind now, and this is where the demon sperms are flying around. These dream demons that look like giant sperms, and she ends up in it. Go on.
Got the young Freddy hammering a hamster in a classroom.
That's right. So she's in his memories, in his mind. So the first one she sees is him killing his class hamster, which is great. Just in front of the whole class. All those kids must have been traumatized, because he uses a great big hammer as well. You just hear this little squeak as he's smashing it to pieces. And then we cut to Freddy's dad beating him. And Freddy loves the punishment. He's been cutting himself with razors anyway. And he says, "Time to take my medicine. Go on then, Dad. Beat me." And then we see the parents burn Freddy to death as well. And then little Maggie sees her dad kill her mum. So that whole flashback in the garden, it turns out that basically the mother, Freddy's wife, found the murder shrine. He strangled her and beat her to death in the garden in front of Maggie. Maggie then went into the basement and saw the murder shrine as well. And then they go on.
Alice Cooper's his dad, by the way.
That's right. Alice Cooper was
cool.
Freddy Krueger's dad. That's right. I forgot that. That's another cameo. I don't think he's even credited. It's not on IMDb. It probably is somewhere right down the bottom, but that's pretty cool. When Alice Cooper turns up, because he does show up in a few horror movies here and there. So yeah, she's had a pretty traumatic childhood, and it all comes flooding back to her now. They start to wake up Maggie now because she grabs hold of Freddy, and they manage to grab a machete and a load of weapons, and they go hunting for Freddy. They find him with no burns on his face. And he does a bit of a double bluff here. Like, he tries to explain, and get them on side. Oh, I didn't mean to do any of this. It's the demons. They possess me. But then they realise he's just trying to get them close to them so that he can fuck them up. So they fight him. They fuck him up a bit. They throw some ninja stars at him because this is 1991.
Yeah.
And the ninja stars pin him to the wall. Then Maggie puts on the glove, because she's his daughter, and she tricks him now because he's like, try it on, honey, and Daddy will show you how it works. I'll show you the family business. And he thinks, great, my daughter's going to start the new generation of the Freddy Krueger. She's going to be doing it. Catherine Krueger is going to go around killing people. But she tricks him. She puts the glove on, but she uses it to stab him. And then she shoves a pipe bomb into him because earlier on they confiscated some pipe bombs off of Spencer. And this was the big finale in 3D. Just before he explodes, he looks at the camera and says, kids.
It's like
and then
Jaws.
he explodes everywhere. It's just like Jaws 3D. He explodes everywhere. Demon sperms come flying at the screen. Bits of Freddy, the glove. They all wake up, and one of them says, Freddy's dead. And then the end credits go. And there's a song called Freddy's Dead that plays over the end credits. Freddy's dead.
And shows of montage clips of other Freddy movies, which probably makes you go, I wish I was watching those ones.
I did put that. Why am I not watching these ones?
That's why you should never do that.
Weirdly, it also reminded me of the Cannibal Run when they kind of showed the clips from.
That's all right. That Cannibal Run's great.
But that was the final nightmare. Freddy's dead.
Like, fuck for that. It's over. Sorry though, fans of it. I do apologise. Like,
I will always have a soft spot for it, but it is definitely the second worst entry for me after number 5. I think you and I both agree 5 is worse than this.
Yeah.
At least this one's got some fun
had a few
stuff
merits.
in it and ideas.
It's just been butchered in the edit so much.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's ADHD, isn't it? It's all over the shop.
Over the top.
MTV.
It's 2 pages. If you were to read the script as this was edited, every page you'd be at next scene, and it wouldn't start up with establishing shot. It wouldn't show it. It'd just be like straight in. You'd be like, "What? Oh, we're here, okay." And then as soon as you start getting settled, we flip the scene again. So yeah, it's hard work for myself anyway.
I think it's very clear that New Line had really given up on trying to make a good Freddy film by this point.
And obviously, I think this is probably they're fucking scraping a barrel here, and that's why next time, I haven't seen it, but next time we're starting to go into a new realm of horror, really.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
I know
to talk
about it, but I don't know it. So yeah,
it's in my top 4 Freddy movies. The next one, this one isn't. But yeah, we've only got 2 Freddy movies left. Really, it'll be New Nightmare and then Freddy vs. Jason, and then we've done with the franchise. But thanks for bearing with us, guys. I mean, it's not a bad film. I would give it. If you're a completist, I'd say watch it. I wouldn't bother recommending it. I'd say there's plenty of other Nightmare on Elm Street movies that are much better. 1, 2, and 3, and 7 are probably the best. Go watch those ones. You can skip 4, 5, and 6. But if you want to see this one, so be it.
Yeah, if you die hard, or you're like, oh, fuck it, let's do a fucking Freddy marathon at Halloween all day long. We could do Freddy, and we're not really paying attention, but we're walking in and out the room. People are going to turn around. We're going to hang out. We're going to smoke and drink and just party. You could put this on in the background and just look at it and go, look at that. But I'm not going to recommend it for if you've got the moment to sit and watch a horror movie. I think you could probably find something more better to watch, unless you aren't nostalgic and you have the box set and you just fucking love Freddy,
Well,
then you probably dig it.
I have got the box set, but it's only 1 to 5 in the box set.
Oh, strange.
But I bought this one separately, and I probably I'm not gonna keep it. I think I'll probably lose number 6 and just keep 1 to 5.
Yeah, so she's gonna get rid of a box set. I sold my box set years ago because I realised I wasn't that much a Freddy fan, and then I realised I love Jason and.
Well, I was just about to say the more we cover these two franchises, the more I realise that Jason is definitely the more fun and best of the franchises.
They never kind of stepped away too far. It did a little bit. As we know, like the last ones we've done, where it's sort of going into like actually that episode. It wasn't that episode. That movie wasn't even fucking Jason. Do you know what I mean? So they did start playing around a little bit, but generally, you know what you're getting.
Yeah. But it's been a fun ride, and we've got a couple more left over the next couple of years. But that was the 6th entry in that franchise. Yeah. Well, it's time. Oh, Bill, you've walked in the room. Happy Halloween to you, my friend.
He's got a costume on. Oh, what are you? A big pumpkin. Oh.
That is not that's not supposed to go through the nose hole of the pumpkin.
No.
That's supposed to be a candle in there. That is definitely not a candle.
And how are you dropping little pumpkins out from behind you? That seems really weird.
I don't really understand what he's doing.
I don't understand this at all. But I think we should probably get into World of Strange before... Well, Bill's quite strange anyway, but before he takes us into his pumpkin
hole. Pumpkin patch.
Here we go, Bill. Take us away.
Hi, welcome back to World of the Strange.
World of the Strange.
Michael, it's the World of the Strange.
Hey, Freddy says World of the Strange, bitch.
Strange world.
Well, we're here. It's the World of the Strange. It's Halloween. Welcome.
Spooky. I very much. I should have said this in the intro, shouldn't I? I went down to the old film set yesterday, and
you did.
I know that was spooky.
Robert
Eggers as Werewolf, which has been made, and they're just making the village at the moment. I was thinking where they're shooting it from, though. Like up at that point there, I don't know. They'll probably lock that off, though. Otherwise, you could, as a public, you could just go up there and look down on them filming the fucking movie in the village.
It's always been that way, though, with that set of woods. You know, you can just walk up there, really, and because they can't really shut too much off to the public, can they?
No.
Apart from like Gladiator, when they were burning all the woods down and stuff like that. But
you do have to pay to park there now. But yeah. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. It is October. It's the spooky season. For us, we like to class the all year round spooky season. But
indeed,
it is Halloween. And it's a Halloween special. It's World of Strange, so that means it's doubly spooky. Dan, what's going on?
Well, I've got a couple of little stories here of spooky and scary and horrific things that happened actually on or around Halloween. These are real life things. So, are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm scared.
Hold on to your balls, Gav. So the first one, I'll give you the little headline, and then we'll go into the story of it. A trick-or-treater died after being given candy laced with cyanide.
Oh, really?
So we've heard this as kids, you know. It's like,
the
there's
apple
race
blades.
blades
You
and
talked about
apples.
this on previous episodes.
Yeah. So 1974, poor little 8-year-old Timothy O'Brien, it's sad because he's only 8, died on Halloween after being given candy laced with cyanide. It turns out it was the poison came from Timmy's father, Ronald, who was in financial trouble, and he'd taken out life insurance policies on his children.
Oh my God! So he was actually killing his kids?
So he'd also given candy to 4 of his other children, including his daughter Elizabeth. None of the others ate them, but Timmy did and died. His dad was executed by lethal injection in 1984, 10 years after.
Wow. Right, I'm in debt. The kids are costing me a lot of money.
Well, he's got 5 or 6 kids.
But if I kill all kids, don't need to pay for their mouse anymore, get all their life insurance, fucking hell, I'll be winning out of this one. That's how he's looking at it.
Even if he killed a couple of them, even if he killed a few of them.
How do you live with that, though?
Well, he didn't. He got killed 10 years later.
Gutted. Well, not... Well,
but yeah, that's not great. So happy Halloween. Poor Timmy. So the next one is a suicide is mistaken for a Halloween decoration.
Amazing.
This is 20 years ago.
Not amazing, sorry.
Amazing. Suicide.
I mean,
yay.
just like the whole thing, like, oh, look at that. It's like almost like a dark joke in a movie or something.
So in 2005, a woman in Delaware committed suicide by hanging herself from a tree.
And I don't laugh at that at all.
Of course not. But we're silly and we get into the spirit of things. And sometimes we laugh at the dark things because that's how you get through it.
It's the spirit of suicide, yeah.
But in Delaware, a woman killed herself by hanging herself from a tree in a park across from a residential area. The body was easily visible to passers-by and passing vehicles. No one called the police for almost 24 hours because they all assumed that the woman swaying in the wind was a really good Halloween decoration.
Yeah, I think I've heard about this.
Almost a full day. There was another one where a guy got stuck on a fence and died, and they thought he was a Halloween decoration as well, but that's not. I don't think that's in this list.
Wow.
But yeah, that woman, firstly, sorry for her that she felt that way, but secondly, imagine all the people that had seen her, and then they saw the police turning up and taking her down and realising we've all just been pointing at that Halloween decoration saying how great it looked, and it wasn't. It was a poor lady.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween to Delaware.
Wow. That realisation, though. The whole time you've been laughing. You see how good that is. Oh, Gerald, look. Oh, yeah. Betty. And then
the next
old
one is
Betty and Gerald have the realisation.
So the next one is very relevant because a man went to a Halloween party dressed as Freddy Krueger and then went on a rampage.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
So in San Antonio, Texas, in this was 2023, a man showed up at a Halloween party dressed as Freddy Krueger. Everyone let him in because he was in disguise, obviously, as everyone is. He didn't know anybody at the party. He pulled out a gun and started opening fire on people and killed 5 people.
Wow.
That's all the story is. Doesn't give us any more about that. I assume he was arrested, but they didn't know him. It turns out he was a stranger to that, but he just went. It could have been any house, any party, because all you got to do, if you think about it on Halloween, you could just knock on someone's door and they go, "Hey, come on in." If they're drunk enough, it's like 1 a.m. Freddy's here, guys, woo, woo, woo. And they probably just think it's someone's cousin or someone. And he pulls out a gun and starts unloading.
Yep.
Happy Halloween. Here's another good one for you, Gav. On Halloween, a son decapitated his mother and left her body in the street.
Jesus Christ, why?
One night in Long Island, Halloween 2014, a decapitated body was laid out in the street 5 feet away from a severed head.
Shit.
Few people walked by and thought, that's a great Halloween prank. That's a great Halloween decoration. That is fantastic, isn't it? But the truth came out not long after. 35-year-old Derek Ward had used a kitchen knife to kill and decapitate his mother, Patricia, then carried the head and body out of into the street and left them there. He then walked off to a nearby railway tracks and jumped in front of a train and killed himself.
Fucking hell.
All on Halloween.
That's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess Halloween makes the spookiness come out.
I guess.
It's a bit weird. There we go. There was a big explosion at a Halloween holiday performance. That's the next one. This was in 1963. So lots of people decided to spend Halloween, the night of Halloween, at the Indiana State Fairgrounds Coliseum watching Halloween Holiday on Ice, which is a big show. So I don't know, but I want to see it.
Fucking Dracula's always skating.
Frankenstein.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
Dead living.
They're like the Wolfman.
Zombies. Imagine zombies skating around all over the place.
I want to see this now.
So Halloween Holiday on Ice at the Indiana State Fairgrounds Coliseum. But the audience didn't realise that there is a rusty tank in the concession area that had started to leak gas.
What?
The room, which didn't have any ventilation, filled with gas within an hour or so. And as the skaters performed their grand finale, they were doing the final song and skating their little hearts out. Dracula was there spinning around. picking up the Bride of Frankenstein. The gas, however, had filled the room and reached an electric popcorn maker in the corner of the room, which triggered a huge explosion. 74 people died.
Fucking hell.
And 400 were injured.
Whoa.
Literally, as the final number of this Halloween Holiday on Ice. Imagine that. And that's Halloween. Yeah.
It's a proper explosion then. If it reaching like almost 500 people.
I know. 400 injured, 74 dead.
Yeah, so that's
popcorn everywhere.
That's like a radius of like 500 people in a venue, isn't it? So that's a big explosion.
Really. I shouldn't laugh. But
don't laugh. There would be popcorn everywhere though, but that's for sure.
Popcorn maker. You'd never eat popcorn again if you were a survivor.
No.
You'd never go ice skating again. That's for sure.
That's really fucked.
Yeah. The Japanese exchange student who knocked on the wrong door. You ready for this one? 25 years ago, a 16-year-old Japanese exchange student called Yoshihiro Hattori dressed up as John Travolta's character from Saturday Night Fever. I don't know why I'm laughing.
I want to see this though already. So where is he from? Is he Japanese, you say?
He's Japanese exchange
Japanese
student.
dude as John Travolta in a white suit. Even though that movie is an awfully bad, like, is in dark movie, not bad movie. It's such a dark. It's not the film you think it is if you don't know what that movie is.
Yeah. Well, he headed out to a Halloween party in Louisiana in his outfit. You know, he's come to America and he's like, "I'll dress as John Travolta. It's great, you know."
But did he?
I'll go to a party.
Did he? Knock on a fan of a John Travolta?
He got dropped off by a friend. But his friend dropped him at the wrong house. He knocked on the door and the homeowner panicked that this Japanese man dressed in a white jumpsuit as John Travolta with a wig on pulled out a gun and shot and killed him immediately.
Why did he panic?
I don't know, Gav.
What the fuck? I'm here!
Bang.
Whoa.
Night fever, night fever.
Fucking hell, that's bad. Guns.
The
I don't
homeowner,
think we should have guns.
the homeowner didn't actually do any jail time. He was acquitted of any wrongdoing. They just said, look, you were acting like anyone would with a trespasser.
Oh, God.
And 20 years later...
It wasn't a trespasser. They knocked on his door. How do you class that as a trespasser?
Well, 20 years later,
excuse just to fucking shoot someone.
The mother of this poor Japanese boy, 20 years on, said, "I've been observing American society for the past 20 years. The ongoing situation there has been incomprehensible to us Japanese. I want to encourage more ways to adopt gun control in the US."
Well,
you know,
that's never, ever, ever happening. Ever.
Yeah. But poor guy. On to the next one. There was a man wearing a scream mask.
I just want to say, he was in that looking in the mirror, getting ready, going, I bet he was listening to Saturday Night Fever while he was getting ready. Had a couple of shots of tequila. Maybe he smoked a bong. It's just like, I'm fucking looking the shit. Look at me. He's
living the dream. Well, he's moved to America and he's living the American dream, you know.
He must have
Halloween
been really excited.
well.
I feel gutted for him.
Yeah. Well, here's another one then. A man wearing a scream mask murdered another man. So, obviously the ghost face mask. So on Halloween in 2013, someone wearing the ghost face mask and cape shot and killed a 19-year-old and then disappeared into the New York night. And that's all we know. He was never caught that I know of. It doesn't say anything in this. All the bystanders said is that they saw this ghost-faced come out of the crowd, pull out a gun and shoot this guy. They don't know if he knew him. But that must have been pretty weird, really, to see that character who's a killer. It would have been worse, I guess, if it was a knife, because that's what he uses in the films. But, yeah, that's kind of a bit weird, really. Yeah. On to the next one then. A man opened his door on Halloween to find a trick-or-treater that would end his life. So in 1982, poor old 69-year-old Marvin was getting ready for bed after a night of handing out the Halloween candy.
Living his best year.
There was one more knock at the door, though, for him.
69.
Hey, dinner for two.
2 for 1.
Marvin opened the door, and there was someone wearing a pillowcase over their head with eyes cut out.
Nice.
So almost like the Jason pillowcase.
Yeah, it's almost a little bit like it reminds me of a movie called The Cornrows, I think they're called, which I watched at Fright Fest this year.
The man in the pillowcase said, "Trick or treat, give me your money or I'll shoot." He then pulled a gun out and said, "I know you've got a safe in your basement." So Marvin thought, this is a prank because only my family know about this safe I've got in my basement. So this can't be true. So he grabbed the gun laughing, like, "Come on, who is it under there?" And as he grabbed the gun went off, shooting him in the throat and killing him instantly. The killer ran off and left just the pillowcase at the scene.
Right.
And they tried doing DNA testing on the pillowcase, but they've never been able to find out who it was. So, poor old Marvin.
God, you shot Marvin.
You shot Marvin in the face.
John Travolta.
I didn't mean to shoot him in the face. It was such a great scene. Okay, well, there was a haunted hayride.
Nice.
So you know these haunted hayrides you get in America where they take you all over the place. So there was a haunted hayride employee who said, "I'm going to pretend to hang, watch this," and then actually hung himself by accident for real.
Wow.
In 1990, in the Chicago area, a teenager called Brian, his job was to give hayride customers a scare by pretending to hang from the gallows. Brian pulled off the stunt fine for a couple of days leading up to Halloween, every day, a couple of times a day, whenever the cart went by with all the customers sat in it, looking at all the scary things. But one night, on the Halloween night, something went a bit wrong. As the hayride approached Brian, who was hanging from the gallows with his feet touching the ground, the tractor driver began to worry, and then he realised Brian wasn't giving his usual speech, and his feet had slipped off and he'd actually hung himself. So all these people in the back of the hayride just thought, "Oh, that's great, look at that, how's he hanging there? No, he's not touching anything." He'd actually hung himself by accident and died.
Again, realisation that, yeah. Okay.
I think I've only got one more. Yes, one more of these. They're not very fun, are they? But that's Halloween for you.
Yeah.
It's not always fun in games.
Halloween is fun.
The last one is about a boy whose life was forever altered on Halloween.
The thing is, how many millions of people are there and on the planet, and like there's going to be people dying all the time. So
I know, it's just on this day.
I know, it's a shame. I don't think the Halloween gods can just stop all death on Halloween, so we all just have fun and joy, though.
This last one is pretty dark. So Halloween 1984. An 8-year-old, again called Brian, should have been enjoying a night of trick-or-treating with his sisters Tiffany and Tamara, who were 11 and 10. But instead, his life turned into a real-life horror film when his new stepfather stabbed his mother to death in front of the kids, then chased his sisters down the hall and murdered both of them as well.
Wow.
He then came into Brian's room, covered in blood, kidnapped Brian, took him away, and kept him sort of for 2 days, and then the police finally found him and arrested him. But before they could arrest him, he managed to kill himself by shotgun. So poor Brian.
Fucking hell! How's Brian nowadays?
I don't know. He's probably not doing great, is he? Really? So Halloween. You celebrating Halloween, Brian? No, I'm fucking not, and I'll tell you why.
He's probably turns into Michael Myers.
Yeah, so he saw his mum and his sisters murdered in front of him. Then he was kidnapped, and then watched his stepdad shoot himself 2 days later. Poor kid, and he was 8 years old.
Yeah, that's absolutely gonna destroy you, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I get not wanting to celebrate Halloween, probably, Brian. I completely get you if that's your. But like you said, it might do the opposite, and it might turn him into Michael Myers.
Yeah, right.
What are you sipping there? A little juice box?
Got a little orange juice box, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I've got little juice boxes because I'm not on my flat very often, so if I get a large carton of juice, orange juice, I only have a couple of glasses because I only have a glass a day. I'm not going to have more than that. And then a couple of days, I'm not here for a few days. Come back, it's fucked. So I have to go small time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's not about the size.
No, it's how you use it.
Well, that's Halloween. Sorry it was very dark, but that is Halloween for you guys. Sometimes it is dark, and these were some really fucking dark things.
I think there should be a reverse purge on Halloween.
Well, what would happen in a reverse purge?
Everybody's happy and joyful.
Okay. Big orgies.
Massive orgies. Worldwide orgy. Free
drugs and booze.
I don't know, that just sounds like you're right. It's throwing booze. No booze. Booze isn't allowed.
Good. Well, Bill Murray, you've now weirdly got...
Weed and sex.
What is he doing with that candy apple?
He's put sticky substance all around it.
Yeah. You want me to bob for your apples? Bobbing?
Bobbing bobbing for Bob's apples?
Before I bob for your apples, Bill, can you please take us out of here? Billy Bob.
Billy Bobbin Bob. Goodbye.
That's all the time we've got for this week on World of Strange. Next week, though, gimme Ira. Hairless pets. Weird.
Every legend is based on fact. Every myth is grounded in truth. For 17 years, the town of Haddonfield, Illinois, has been haunted by a night when evil roamed the streets and a madman ruled the night. Everyone knows his name. Now, everyone will know the truth.
I knew what he was, but I never knew why.
Halloween 6, the origin of Michael Myers.
Halloween, the curse of Michael Myers. Michael! 1995, rated 18, an hour and 27 minutes. Tidy in under 90 minutes. 6 years after Michael Myers last terrorised Haddonfield, he returns there in pursuit of his niece, Jamie Lloyd, who has escaped with her newborn child, for which Michael and a mysterious cult have sinister plans. That's a dodgy old synopsis.
There's a lot going on in that one, isn't it?
Yeah, we got to think, like, this is, the Halloween... Blimey. The Halloween series, what is it? It's 3 different paths you can go on with them. Which timelines you want. 3 different timelines. So it does get a little bit confusing, it can do. So we're saying then, we're saying this is Danielle Harris from part 4 and part 5, now grown up with her own child.
Who happens to be Michael's child, her uncle.
How? And was there a scene where Michael, with his mask on, was humping what? His niece? Who somehow, at her age, had a baby?
Now this is... Look, we'll get into all this.
Because she's not that old either, so you got to think...
I don't know where to start, really, with this one. Before we get into it, I mean... Maybe we'll talk about my first time I saw it. I had disposable income and I bought them all on VHS from Virgin Megastore because, I'd never seen them all. I'd seen one and I'd seen two and I'd seen Season of the Witch.
Yeah, like whatever's on Sky Movies or the odd telly. It was always the first one. Occasionally you might get Halloween 2, the original one, occasionally.
Yeah. So I was happy to own them all. And when I got to this one, as probably a 16, 17-year-old, it confused the absolute fuck out of me, particularly if you watch it straight after the 5th one. You're like, I don't know what's going on. and over the years, I've really sort of slated this as the worst of the bunch. Now, you and I are both probably in agreement. Much like Freddy, this one isn't
It's an age
the worst
thing.
Of the bunch.
We've matured.
It's better than the 5th one.
Yeah.
I like the 4th one, actually. In retrospect, when we covered that one wasn't too bad. Daniel Harris, etc. The 5th one was a bit shit.
5th is a mess, yeah.
But this one, now, and I said this to you off air before we recorded, suddenly this one, I get this one now. Not that I get as in it's a great film like The Shining.
Yeah.
I just get it in that I understand the plot now. The plot is still a fucking mess though.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, and I guess that's my next thing I wanted to say, is they bring in this weird cult, this evil, the cult of Thorn, and they're the reason for Michael being evil. Now, the whole point in Michael being scary is there is just no reason, in number 1 and number 2, he's just killing and there's no reason. And even Loomis says, there's nothing behind those eyes, just evil. There's just nothing there. But in this one, they're like, yeah, he's controlled by a crazy cult of Thorn who have got these rune symbols. And basically they have to have someone who kills out an entire family to let all the other families thrive. It comes from the pagan times. They used to do this all the time. And you're like, what? What?
Where's this come from? It's like Halloween 3 obviously goes and does this whole other thing, because that was John Carpenter's idea. But if he hadn't done a part 2 to his part 1, he might have been able to get away with that. But then this kind of goes like it's kind of thrown that at it in a way where it kind of goes off the roads of the Halloween simple line, Michael Myers is a straight killer, we don't know why he's a shape. And now it throws in this fucking other thing on the side. Let's throw a cult in there. Yeah, all right, cults are in, aren't they? Yeah. And
to add to it, we've now got about 2 or 3 different families in the mix who are cousins of and related to and adopted of the original family,
Michael. Yeah.
The Myers family, and it just doesn't really.
I like the bit when Loomis is like, "Why, I had plastic surgery to take the burns off. Cost me a fortune." Like,
what he's saying is they didn't have to apply prosthetics for me for this one.
We couldn't be bothered to put prosthetics on this time, so basically you had them taken off. All right, all right, okay.
He's got a couple of little burns on his neck, and that's about it. You don't see
what
many
if
others.
Donald Pleasance wiped, like the scene starts with him coming away from the curtain, and then he zips himself up, like the
Wake in Fright, if anyone.
Wake in Fright, Australian throwback there. But wouldn't that be weird?
So, but watching this film now, I
Thank
understand.
you, Michael. That was amazing.
The other reason that number 5 is the ending of number 5 is so fucking out there because it ends with an explosion in a jail cell where Michael is freed by a man in a black trench coat and a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, and you just don't understand what's going on. But this film picks up who that guy was,
kind of, yeah.
Now, but even when as a kid watching number 6, this one we're covering today, I still didn't understand it. It was only this time around I realised that it's the Doctor. I don't know why I never twigged. I must have tuned out a couple of times watching this, and now I realise it's the Doctor that's the cult leader, just by chance. Loomis' best friend.
Well, let's get into it, because we can talk about these things as we go, but...
Yeah, well, before we do, very quickly then, who's in this? Obviously, Donald Pleasance comes back. Sadly, he passed away not long after... I think this film was in post-production, when he passed away. I don't think he probably got to see the final version of this. I'm sure he's not that bothered about it, bless him. It's also the first ever appearance of Paul Rudd, everyone's favourite person, Paul Rudd. He did this, and he did Clueless in the same year. Clueless would be the one that everyone knows him for.
So Halloween, I watched Halloween 2018 again the other day, actually, funny enough, which they should have done. I moan about this on our Patreon episode if you want to listen to me moaning about David Gordon.
How does it
Green.
hold up? Because I haven't seen it.
It's produced really well, but then at times you just roll your eyes and it's just stupid shit happens at times.
You and I loved that in the cinema, and
we did because it got back to what we wanted to see, but then it turned into a fucking Marvel movie. Oh, let's have another one. Oh, let's have another one.
Yeah, because then I rewatched it when the second one came out.
Didn't need to do that.
Yeah, and I didn't enjoy it as much.
So with that one, they wanted to get actually for Halloween Kills, which has Tommy Doyle's character come back as a grown man. They actually asked Paul Rudd to do it.
He would have been like,
no,
I'm getting paid by Marvel. Marvel are giving me money.
No, I'm not doing your shit movie.
Seth, me and Seth Rogen are making a movie together.
Just also was throwing me in it, and the girl that we were both babysitting, we're both in the same bar tonight. I was like, what is going on?
If he'd have shown up and started doing karaoke in that scene, that might have made it a better film, though.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so this is Paul Rudd's basically playing Tommy. So he is Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis in the original John Carpenter's Halloween's babysitting 2 kids for a night. Supposed to be babysitting 1, but her friend wants to get a bone on and do some shagging.
I believe they're watching in that original film. They're watching the thing from another world. Yeah.
And the little kids are there. So basically, we are now here with a grown-up 30-year-old or mid-20s or whatever, Tommy Doyle. So that's how Paul Rudd's playing for his first time on film.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for him in this. He does as best he can,
but
some of the lines are awful.
This movie, though, is almost like an Avengers of the Halloween series. I don't know why I keep going to Marvel with this, but it is, though, because you've got Loomis, and he's like, oh, I'm not going back, because basically, we could get to it anyway, but his mate is a doctor from the hospital, comes out to see him and says, you found me here. Yeah, it's quite hard to get here. Oh, yes. And he says, like, I've quit being a doctor thing, I just want to let you know I'm going to retire, etc. Then he says to me, I want to get you come back with me. I don't know why he says he's retired. I know we're jumping ahead and we'll get to all this, but we have then over the radio at the same time, it's like the fucking beacon of fucking, I don't know, fucking Superman's beacon up in the sky or something. At the same time, they have this call in where you've got Paul Rudd, who's like your fucking Hawkeye or some shit over here, waiting on the fucking band radio for anything, like a fucking maniac thinking Michael Myers is coming back because it's Halloween. He's like fucking twitching like a fucking speed freak. He's there waiting, and then you got these two, and these two hear that, and they go, we must tag up together, team up, me and you.
Yeah, and then you've got like Cara Strode, the big sister, who's got a kid. She's like the Black Widow. She's like, well, I'm involved in the mix now, so I'm
Loomis could be Hulk. Anyway, so then you got, but all of a sudden though, you realise out of all the Halloween movies, not just have you got Dr. Loomis is revenge for these Halloween movies every time. I'm gonna get you, Michael. Apart from 3 when he goes to Stonehenge for a laugh. We have him, John. All of a sudden, though, we've got this young spunk already in Paul Rudd. I don't know about young spunk in Paul Rudd. I don't want to know about that. But he is ready waiting in the aisles on the CB radio like a speed freak tweaking, like I told you, and he is ready there like a kraken, more like he's ready to pounce like a jackrabbit. And this is the first time we've got like different groups could come together and go against Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I've never seen this before,
The other thing this film's got going for it, obviously other than bringing Donald Pleasance back and John Carpenter's score, is it's got a much better fucking mask than the last couple.
Yeah. So like there is some stuff in here.
And some quite good characters in this. It's particularly Cara's dad, who is a horrible piece of shit and abusive to her, and he's really mean, and we're really pleased to see him die. But he plays that asshole really well. There are some good people in this, and I think that Marion Hagen, that plays Cara Strode in this, is really good actually, and also super hot. Again, back in my day when I bought this, I was like, oh yeah, she's great. Like, especially when Paul Rudd's like spying on her with his telescope from the next house. Like, yeah.
Let's get on to it anyway.
Yeah. Enough of my deviance. Okay, cool. Yeah. So like I say, Pleasance is back, and that's cool. That's my first note. Pleasance is back. Always great to have him back. And Gav, you said this to me a few days ago when you messaged me. What's nice is he's quite chilled in this.
He's
Dr.
really
Loomis. He's
back.
not as manic, screaming in children's faces.
And
Loomis.
What's nice about this is his character is actually, he's thought about it, and I reckon someone who's made this movie is actually like producing it somewhere along the line, not from the other one, especially 5, has gone at this going, well, let's put a little bit more character development going on here a little bit. So Loomis's character, his arc, this is his character arc. We've never seen this before. He all of a sudden now is actually kind of chilled out. He's not that fucking like, I'm going after Michael after every fucking movie. like this, hunting him since the first film, literally hunting him since he got back to that mental asylum. All the people were, all over the place. Psychiatric ward, sorry. He is
Looney
now.
bin.
He is now calm. He's just like, no, I just sit back and watch Pornhub nowadays.
There's a really cool line actually from him where on the radio they said, someone mentions he's listening to this radio show, and somebody says, Loomis, isn't he dead? And he says, and he looks at the radio and he says, not dead, just retired. And that's quite a cool moment.
He's just like super chilled. He's definitely like growing his own weed out there. Definitely.
Before we jump into this, there's one other little weird thread I should mention for this film. There's a lot on the backstory. I won't go into all of that, but the production and all the shit that went on behind the scenes. But there is also another plot thread, which is there's a DJ called Barry.
DJ Barry in the house.
He is like a bit like a Howard Stern type shock jock, and he is the one that's doing this radio show on Halloween, and he's going to come to Haddonfield and interview the people. So that kind of, bear with us when we're going through this, because just to give you a bit of backstory, if you've not seen this, Barry is kind of on this person on the radio that accidentally brings everyone together to take down Michael, but then he gets involved and then killed himself further down the line. It's a bit of a weird plot thread, subplot, but it's in there as well. So that's that really. But yeah, let's get started. So we start with a woman in labour. And while she's having her baby, we get a big introducing Paul Rudd, which is cool to see. She's taken into a candlelit cavern.
It's like 3D. The text was coming out, and sort of where she was laying, popped out, and Paul Rudd's name just poof, Paul Rudd
popped out of her vagina,
up to the screen.
Here I am, Ant-Man. Well, if he's Ant-Man, it wouldn't really be that bad. You wouldn't really feel it. She's wheeled into a candlelit cavern, which is not where you want to be when you're having a baby, let's be honest. She's also tied to the bed. And
we have narration of Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, he's sort of saying, for many years, in a galaxy far, far away. Basically saying, Michael Myers, blah, blah, blah.
Stabbed his
all
sister.
The stuff we've heard before. Yeah,
up,
we know this story.
gate.
Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider.
And
it's like that.
He always attacked on Halloween. And overcome all police, and then he disappeared.
Cheaply made, this film, and you can see that because there's a lot of slow-mo used to stretch out a bit, particularly in this opening scene. There's a lot of repetitive shots of her sort of shoving her head back in pain as she's having the baby, but they repeat it in slow motion several times, and then we hear the baby cry, and then again, not what you want, just as you've had a baby, a man in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat enters the room in a long black trench coat. And we don't see his face at this point. And he takes the baby.
It's a weird choice.
And then they draw a symbol on the body of the baby. There's some kind of an altar happening. We get a little flashback of little Jamie.
The end of the last movie.
Yeah. And it ties in nicely to what the fuck happened. So now we understand that this cult blew up that jail that Michael was in. I don't know how the police put him in a jail cell, but they did. Took Michael out of it, and apparently Michael complies with them. When he's around the cult, he's like, all right guys, what do you need me to do today? Which family am I taking out today? But when he's out and about, he's just chopping people up left, right and centre.
Can I commend very much, very quickly, that it's such a simple thing, it's such a cliche, but we all understand what it is. When we have a flashback and it's in black and white, straight away you go, oh, it's a flashback. It's kind of like, we know what that is. Can people still start doing that a bit more? Because it gets confusing.
Tell you something? I'll tell you something now. My kids understand a flashback. They're 4, not even 4.5. And when there's a black and white flashback, especially if it's black and white, they either say to me, is this a dream? Or are they remembering this? Yeah. And that's their interpretation. Like, so even they understand it.
It's like thumbs up's a universal language. Do you know what I mean? Put your thumb up. Yeah. Someone else will put the thumb up and go, yep, okay. So, I still feel that's the same with this. So can people do that? Because in movies, it gets fucking complicated at times. When you're like, someone says to me, no, we have flashback. Oh, for fuck. I watched it. It's incantation. They kept doing it. So Charlie would go to me, they're back now, Dad. I was like, all right, thanks. They're back at the front. All right, cheers. After a while, I was like, yeah, I've got it now. It's all right.
It's in cartoons where it goes like diddly-doo, diddly-doo, diddly-doo.
Yeah, I need help though. It's again, I don't know why I'm reviewing films, but I need help watching them.
The flashback is Danielle Harris, who probably got a little bit of money for her, image being used in this, and Michael being rescued from the jail by this cult. So, a woman takes the adult Jamie.
I love that Rob Zombie had to when he was sorry, I was interrupting. I love that Rob Zombie when made his Halloween. It's like, right, we're gonna get some. Let's get Danielle Harris in it. Right, let's make sure she gets her tits out though.
Oh, I know.
Do you know what I mean? It's like what? He didn't need to do that.
So one of the nurses decides to help Jamie and her baby escape from this crazy cult. So she starts smuggling them out down these corridors and down some stairs.
Then Michael's just there.
And we get the John Carpenter theme tune kick in. Yeah. Michael's there. Out of nowhere.
Just gets there.
Grabs the nurse.
And this is the typical fucking... This is like where you could make jokes of... Scary Movie could make jokes of this and parody it, however you say it. Where it's Michael Myers doesn't move at any speed whatsoever yet. In a second, he's there. How the fuck did you do that? But they would probably just say it's the runestones made it happen.
Paul Rudder will explain that later, bless him.
It just throws some runestones down, which I don't think do anything at all.
He's better off using the acorns that Willow had in the film Willow.
It makes him have some fucking Lucky Charms, boxes of Lucky Charms, and just throw them on the floor. Well, funny how you linked that to Willow. They're both played by Warwick Davis. Oh. There you go. So this nurse gets her head impaled on a spike on the wall. Michael, that's one of his textbook moves, isn't it? If he was a wrestler, he doesn't. He's not as inventive and creative. One thing I say, Jason Voorhees, he is a creative kid.
He loves it. What can I use? He's like Jackie Chan. He uses what's around him, Jason.
Like Michael Myers is a bit more autistic when it comes down to it. When he pins that kid up, that lad up in the first one, and he just turns his head to the side and stares at him, it's like, that's some real autism thing going on there, I reckon.
Routine. So Jamie and the baby manage to escape up onto the roof. It's hammering down with rain, really dark and stormy night. Michael follows her. She jumps in a truck that she steals from a guy, saying, "Hey, what are you doing to my goddamn truck?" And she just drives off in the truck. He gets his neck broken by Michael, and she drives off.
I realised that when Michael's just slowly doing his fucking walk along, I realised straight away, I was like, I know I've seen this before a long time ago, and I know what was going on, but I was like, Michael seems to be like an assassin, because like there's no reason why he's after that baby. We don't know why. So it feels like he's actually been sent out, like you would fucking Frankenstein's monster or something.
John Wick.
What?
John Wick. He's an assassin. I'm just naming assassins. Sorry.
Let's keep it in the horror world. So yeah, I feel like straight away you could see like Michael straight away. I was like, why is he after the baby? It does make sense. I was like, but it does feel like he's there for a reason. Like he's like,
he's a puppet.
Michael, go kill that person. Bring them back to me. Okay, like Frankenstein's monster.
He's an instrument of evil. Yeah, and I've got a note here that says we're 4 minutes in and we've already had a baby born, a killer cult, and 2 deaths. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck already. We've had 2 deaths from Michael already. And we cut to Danny. Now, Danny Strode.
Who the fuck's Danny?
Danny Strode wakes up. And he's in his room, a little boy, and he hears...
Here's fucking Freddy Krueger talking.
Kill for him, Danny.
Every time it sounds like Freddy's voice.
And he says, Mommy, the voice man is back. And she's like, oh, for God's sake. So she does a little rhyme where she's like, magic spell, do your work. Boogeymen, go away and don't be a jerk, or something along those lines. And she does this whenever he hears the voice man. But this kid, must be thinking, although I'm only 7 or 8 years old, I'm definitely hearing a man and seeing a man come into my room in a cowboy hat and say, kill for me, Danny, kill.
Yeah.
Like, Mum, this isn't my imagination. But his mum's just like, oh, son.
I imagine here, if you're going into, it's like going into Halloween 3, going, I can't wait to see Michael Myers again. I think you're like, I love that when that premiered at cinema and everyone's sitting there and they're like, where the fuck's Michael? And it all of a sudden start hearing, where's Michael Myers? It's like, no, you're not having any of that.
Is just that Tom Atkins banging in a motel room.
Yeah, is it like this though? With it just seems to be, like, you're expecting one thing, and then all of a sudden it should be nice simplified. All of a sudden you're like, what's this going on? I wonder if fans, when they went into it, expected just a simple formula like Jason does with Friday the 13th, and then they got this, which is all of a sudden they're thrown in like this B story. I know it's a Strode, but we're starting to fucking stretch it thin, aren't we?
Yeah. And just to cement, by the way, on a side note, just to cement that this is 1995, this boy's got several Power Rangers toys in his room, and I believe he's got a Pokemon poster on the wall, just to sort of cement that this is the mid-90s for him, you know.
And did young Mikey Myers, when he first killed his older sister, did he plan all this out? Or was he there at that point then, the Runestones, and he was a kid of the Fawn family then, are they saying?
I think the cult, because he'd done such an evil deed,
they've manipulated him with magic.
Yeah, exactly. And they turned him into an instrument of for evil for them.
So they're still sort of saying that Michael still has this thing about Strodes. He needs to kill all Strodes. Why?
Because if he wipes out the whole family, that's what the ancient pagans did. They wiped out an entire family to make everybody else stronger and more food to go around in the village and that kind of thing. I don't know. We don't get much more of a backstory than that, Gav. Paul Rudd explains it better than me later on.
I don't know. You've done pretty good
with his runes. Thanks. Now, his mum is Cara.
This is interesting.
Quite a hot mum, and she had Danny when she was very young.
I don't think she's very hot.
She lives with her mum and dad and her brother, who's Timmy, I think it is, or Tim. Yeah, Tim.
Timmy.
And her mum and dad. Her dad detests her because, you got a little bastard son there. So we'll meet all of them properly in a moment.
I think she hasn't been at home for about 3 years and just gone out, has a kid and just turns up. So dad's a bit like, fuck's sake, you just turn up sort of thing. And you can understand where he's coming from in some perspective.
Not perhaps the hitting.
No. She's in the bathroom in her underpants, and she's listening to the radio, and it's quite interesting because she got like a talk show host thing going on, and they're talking about
DJ
America's
Barry,
most notorious serial killer, and they're just talking around me about Michael Myers. So it's really interesting that we're accepting as possibly Ted Bundy and Ed Gein and just different people in the world of America. And we're actually real serial killers, and Michael Myers is actually a serial killer. But when it comes down to, I suppose, because they're taking into account all of his murders through the other films, apart from 3. Okay.
And it kind of gives it a bit of realism that he's listed among other.
It's quite interesting.
Serial killers.
Yeah.
So
Paul Rudd's watching her.
Paul Rudd is watching her from the house next door. But he's not really watching her as much as surveilling the house because he knows some shit's going to go down at some point.
Well, listening to a radio show which he's on hold with because he's phoned in, they happen to be talking about Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Is all such a coincidence?
So this is the tie-in I mentioned earlier. So DJ Barry this is his show.
DJ Barry in the house.
And they're all excited that he's coming to Haddonfield to do a live broadcast at some point. But his show is what does tie everybody together. Like you said, Gab, it's like the Avengers call sign. Now, Mum does find that Danny has been doing some pictures of rune symbols. And she's like, what the fuck is up with my kid, man? He says to me that he sees the voice man in his room. And then the radio guy starts talking about Michael and says, Haddonfield has banned Halloween since 1989, and I'm going to be coming there to ask the residents what they think of that and doing a live broadcast. And I encourage you all to have a big Halloween party against the law and celebrate Halloween for the first time since 89.
This is a shame because we do have it later on, just a little bit of this radio show, and then the DJ's like, spoiler, he's killed straight away by Michael, and it seems like, what a shame. We could have had that radio show sort of cutting back to it, and where we get to know, and he could be talking about to the town and what's going on. It could have been used really well.
Talking of radio shows, I was watching Hubie Halloween for about the 6th or 7th time this month with my children. And my kids crack up when Shaq,
with the voice.
when Shaquille O'Neal starts talking in the other voice. They were like, "That's not the right voice, Daddy," and they think that's absolutely that's their favourite film this month that we've watched out of all of the Halloween stuff. They've watched it so many times.
It's such a good movie. I watched it by myself, but yeah.
Yeah, they love it. They love it. They love the werewolf. They love Steve Buscemi, and they love all of it. Paul Rudd then turns his camera on her in her underwear. She's not that freaked out about it, but like I say, it's more that he's surveilling the house.
It is still just coming out of the 80s, really, isn't it?
Yeah. He's on he calls a radio show and says, "My name is Tommy Doyle, and when I was a kid, I saw Michael Myers, and I know he's coming back. I tell you, he's coming back. Could be this Halloween, could be next, but I can tell you he's coming back." And the guy's like, "Whoa, we got a regular nut job on the line here." He basically takes the piss out of all of his callers, because one of the women's like, "I feel sorry for Michael. I think he was misunderstood." And he's like, "Oh yeah, would you like to bang Ed Gein as well?" And he's like, just says all this horrible shit to them. Like I said, he's a bit of a shock jock. But yeah, he says he'll be back to finish his work, and the DJ hangs up on him. And then we see Loomis on his typewriter, typing very slowly. I don't know what he's typing. His diary. "Dear diary, today I had But he's typing something out, and he's retired, and that's because the DJ on the radio, like I mentioned earlier, says, "And what about that Loomis guy, eh? That crazy doctor who was hunting him down. Where's he now? Probably dead somewhere." And he says, "Not dead, just retired."
Info dump.
Moment.
It's right. It works for it's as soon as we see Pleasant and he's laid back at his own little place there, doing his own little thing, drinking, typing away, just enjoying himself, listening to the radio. He kind of be like, back with Donald Pleasance. It's quite nice, and because he's not this wild, crazy, raincoat wearing psychopath doctor after Michael Myers. It seems quite refreshing to have him like this,
And isn't it interesting that in part 5 he was still in his full-blown alcoholism and he'd quit drinking, and so when he made this one, his character was much more calm. His acting, the style that he chose, was perhaps much more calm, and obviously the script dictated that, but I think probably his lifestyle choices has made him a little bit calmer as well. Now, you'll have to help me out here, Gav, because he's visited by Dr. Terence Wynn. Now, was Dr. Terence Wynn in many of the other ones, or was he someone that just came into the end of number 5 and now he's in this one? I don't really recall.
No, I don't think so. Obviously, you've got in the original movie when Donald Pleasance Loomis leaves the hospital, you got the doctor saying to him about how did he learn to drive. Well, someone must have taught him. Got that scene going on, but that's not this guy. No, I don't think it would be. It could potentially be. I suppose they could just call the same character, I guess, but I wouldn't have thought so.
He knocks on his door and it's quite late at night.
He's the chief administrator for the hospital, and he's the one which I spoke about earlier. He's come to basically tell him that I've retired, etc.
He says, "You look well," and he says, "Plastic surgery cost me a fortune, but at least I don't scare the kids anymore," which explains why they haven't got any special effects makeup on him. They sit and have a drink together, and he says, "I'm celebrating tonight. Tonight I'm retiring from working in the medical field.
Have a drink, but just don't touch the curtains."
Michael's curtains, beef curtains. And we cut back to Jamie. Jamie is she leaves the truck, so don't forget we got Jamie, adult Jamie, who's still running away with her baby, and we see her pull up in the middle of the night with her baby.
What ends up being confusing is that we're all very accustomed to the name Jamie Lee Curtis, who played Laurie in Halloween, but in your head you kind of think it's Jamie, but then you've got this one, it's Jamie, so it's a bit like, oh gosh, you could have picked a different name.
So she leaves the truck outside a bus station that she's nicked, and she runs into the bus station with the baby. Obviously, she's still bleeding. She makes a call to someone. We don't know who she's going to be ringing, and then we cut back to Terence talking about his retirement, and he says, "But I do want you to come." And it doesn't really explain why, unless I missed it. He says to Dr. Loomis, "I got one favour to ask you, and that's just to come back to Smith's Grove." And he's like,
which doesn't make sense because he's just retired. So
he says that's a cruel Halloween prank to prey on someone.
We do know, though, spoiler, that the Doctor is actually one of the cult leaders, and this is all a fucking plan to get Loomis. Why does he need Loomis, though? Why didn't you just leave Loomis alone?
It's very strange.
Is it better to have your enemy close than far?
Maybe because he knows Michael better than anyone. I don't know.
I don't know.
But on the radio show that happens to be playing in Loomis's house as well, suddenly we hear that Jamie is called into DJ Barry's show. He
DJ
says,
Barry,
who's our
just
next
got
caller?
through to DJ Barry.
He says, who's our next caller? And she's like, hello, my name is Jamie Lloyd. And Dr. Loomis, if you're out there, I need your help. Dr. Loomis, I need you. Help me.
Fucking Rudd's ears fucking perk up. Oh, this is what I've been waiting for, like the bat signal.
She runs into the restroom with her baby, and then Michael searches for her. But she runs outside and she's driving again, and she gets rammed off the road. We assume by Michael, but I assume it's actually probably the cult that did this to her, because I don't think Michael's driving is probably as good as this. She crashes the van into a pumpkin farm, Gav, which is cool for her Halloween movie. She runs off into a barn with the baby, but it's not the baby because she's hidden the baby in the restroom. She's caught and killed. Well, she's not killed.
Well, this is it. She leaves the place, and she's just all of a sudden, next second, Michael is there. It's pouring with rain. She's soaking. Michael's just there. He's not wet. He's completely dry somehow. Like, he actually has magic umbrella skills as well as magic teleportation speed skills. And then all of a sudden they're in a vehicle, and all of a sudden Michael is fucking driving in a vehicle. It's like, how we're really jumping to it here very, very quickly. Like the other
is
film,
it him driving then?
It must be an era in time where all this editing's so quick. Michael's driving.
He's driving that van that knocks off the road.
So where was the vehicle there? Did he have the keys in his pocket? What was this planned? So they're not asking. Anyway, Michael's there, so she then crashes because she's being chased, and she's a bit like, oh, fuck, crashes.
Michael catches her in the barn and stabs her.
You do think, where's the baby in all this? Because there's no sound. And yeah, she's stabbed by Michael, and she says, you won't have the baby, Michael. And Michael looks in the van, and there is no baby.
Yeah. And then the next morning pops up, and
this
it says,
is good though. This is
Halloween.
Like setting definitely back. This is what we do. Like Halloween 4 does this at the beginning when it has nice bits, then goes to the Halloween shop. It cuts to sort of thing. It's nice having these opening bits. Actually, the other day, I think I threw on Halloween 5. No, it was Halloween 4. I threw on the other day because it was on Tubi or something, just while I was doing stuff around the house. So I know the movie, I'm just going to chuck it on because it's the season to be spooky. And it starts off really nice shots of like Halloween, autumn, and all the colours. And so when we cut to this, it's very much like Hoobie Halloween, where it's like a love letter to the autumnness and the colours and all that stuff. I was driving through this amazing scenery today where it's just all orange trees everywhere. The road is wet. It's fucking gorgeous because I live quite mainly in the country. Say
what you will about the Halloween franchise, and there are definitely weak entries, but they do capture that Halloween spirit,
and this is the bit
pumpkins on people's porches.
This cuts to our Haddonfield getting ready for Halloween, and this is what we like. It's big. It's big crane shots going down to the ground where it's all these kids just running around, and what we've come to accustomed to, it's blueprinted out by John Carpenter in the original film.
And DJ Barry's driving around in his van, sort of with a megaphone, saying, "Don't forget tonight, you assholes. There's a big party." Blah blah blah. So they're all getting hyped for it because he's in town as well.
Luckily, this chief administrator wanted Donald Pleasant to come back. Luckily, it happens at the same time. Did the chief administrator go like, "Great, I'll turn up tonight because they're doing a radio show on him, and hopefully this lady will phone in." So I can then get Donald back to the hospital where I can keep an eye on him. Where under the hospital we've got our cult fucking place. And as soon as I get back there though, because they're there, so it's great for Chief Administrator. Donald Pleasance is there, and he's saying, "I can't do this again. I can't go through it again. You've got to help me." So
he says, "Michael is alive. I can feel it."
Yeah.
He says, "I think that was Jamie Lloyd on the radio. She's alive. She didn't die in the explosion at the end of part 5. Terrence, help me. So they go back to the hospital. They request all the files on Michael so they can really get studying him. And then someone comes in and says, we find Jamie this morning. She's barely alive. She's in hospital. And he's like, we have to go see her. And then we get to meet Danny's uncle. Well, his grandfather, really. So that's Kara's dad and Kara's mum. And they are really not very nice to Kara.
Did we need any of this lot?
I'm not really sure.
In the movie, we could have not had this and just carried on with what we're doing.
It's just more people to get killed, though, isn't it?
It's a shame, though, because we kind of got this whole thing on Donald Pleasance and this guy and Paul Rudd that we don't need anymore. Have them guys going after Michael Myers. I think that'd be quite good. But yeah, throwing this in. Yeah.
The only good thing about it is they don't realise that they're living in the Myers household.
That's the only thing. That's the only connection. I don't know we needed to fucking go into it all so much. Their fucking backstory so much. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he slaps his daughter, Kara, in front of her son and says, I don't know why you came back, because she calls him a bastard. And he slaps her, and Danny obviously sees all of this. And then Danny looks out the window and sees Michael outside the window.
Yeah, this is why we need this family.
Kill for me, Danny, kill.
Yeah.
So he grabs a knife
and puts a knife up to the dad's groin, which sort of scares them all, like fucking hell. So I guess that is why we do need it, because we kind of turn him into the new Michael Myers in a way.
So Kara takes the knife off of him and they all leave for the day. And as they leave, she says, hey, who's that weird guy next door? He was taking photos of me in my underwear. Oh, that's weird Tommy. Yeah, don't worry about him. He's crazy. He's a loon. When he was a kid, he saw his babysitter get terrorized by that Michael Myers, blah, blah, blah. It's a little bit more backstory for them. Tommy listens to last night's radio broadcast on reel-to-reel, Gav. He's recorded it on fucking reel-to-reel, not a cassette. No, reel-to-reel. Who's got reel-to-reel? They record. I used to record the charts on cassette tape. I didn't have reel-to-reel in my bedroom.
No. How old's Danny's mum supposed to be then? She looks like she's in her 30s.
I think she's supposed to be in her early 20s.
Right, okay.
I think she's probably having...
and Danny's what?
15, 16 when she had him, maybe. So she's probably like 23, 24. I don't know.
All right.
But we don't really find out much about what happened, but you can imagine that,
They like to just go, let's just throw a bit of stuff in about this family, but we won't show it all. Oh, okay.
Now, Loomis and Terrence go to visit. This is quite... You've got to suspend your disbelief now. They go to visit this where they found Jamie as her body... Well, she's not dead, but as she's wheeled away in the back of an ambulance. There's a huge rune symbol perfectly burnt onto some hay in the barn.
They say that Michael did this. Donald Pleasance says...
That's his mark. That's his mark.
I saw that.
He's never done this before. It's not his fucking mark. B, this isn't the crow where he sort of sets fire to like petrol on the ground and it creates a crow symbol, because that's awesome when he did that. But Michael, and C, how would Michael do such a
perfect? It's perfect.
burning?
I did think this. I was like, how the fuck's he done that?
Michael, you are Banksy, my friend.
It was really good, yeah.
Maybe Michael Myers is Banksy. Maybe we've discovered what it is.
Well, just before this, Tommy finds the baby in the bathroom cupboard. At the
in a moment, that's in just a moment, because he's examining his reel-to-reel.
It's not.
Oh, okay. Well, according to my notes, it is. But he's examining his reel-to-reel, and in the background he can hear a bus station.
Yeah. So he goes to the bus station.
So he goes to the bus station. And, oh, yeah, you're right. He finds the baby in the restroom, and then they see the rune symbol. Sorry, Gab, you are right. Then they see the rune symbol, and this is where Loomis is like, it's not a ghost, and that isn't a ghost over there. That's Jamie, and Michael's back. I fucking tell you, no fucker listens to me.
It's just like, okay, like you were chilled out. I liked it when you're back at your place chilled out. Now you're telling me about all this crazy shit and getting all hyper again.
So on a college campus, we've got Tim and Kara, who's Tim's sister, and Beth, who is Tim's girlfriend. And she's like walking along. She accidentally pulls out this picture of a murder scene out of her bag that her son's put in there, of the whole family being killed by knives. And they're like, what the fuck's that? She's like, oh, I don't know. My son draws these pictures. I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's Halloween.
Just going back to Paul Rudd, Tommy, finding the baby in the thing. Now, he finds a baby there. He doesn't know what the baby is or anything about the baby. The radio calling didn't say anything about the baby. He just finds a baby and goes, I'm keeping the baby.
It's because he sees drops of blood and he knows that it was her.
But he just finds it. It's like, oh, I'm going to keep a baby. No. Hand the baby. It's really weird that you want to keep babies. Then all of a sudden, all the time you find him a baby. Later on, the woman finds him at his house and he's there with her kid on a bed with a baby. But like, this is really freaky, man. But anyway, he keeps the baby.
We get a few shots of Cara walking along and they try and recreate that classic Jamie Lee Curtis wandering down the streets with someone following her and peeping out from behind bushes. And they kind of give it the feel of that. They do a good job with the theme and the bushes and the trees. And Michael is indeed watching Cara. But yes, Ant-Man then takes the baby. I've put Ant-Man for some reason. Ant-Man takes the baby to a hospital. While he's there, he sees Loomis. He says, you're Dr. Loomis. And he's like, yes, how'd you know me? He's like, I'm Tommy Doyle. Remember, I was a little kid from Halloween 1. He's like, oh my God, you've grown up. You're a man now. And he says, you know something? Michael's still out there. And he's like, yes, I know. Fucking yes, I know. Of course. he's so happy that someone's like, yes.
I love it. He's like, yes, fucking yes.
And he tells him he says there's a family, the Strode family, now live in the Myers house. He sort of teases him because he doesn't give him any more information. And Donald Pleasant's like, oh. And he goes, but I'm not going to tell you any more now. Meet me at 9:00 tonight at the Halloween party. And he's like, oh, you bastard. So he's now got to wait until 9:00 tonight to get the rest of the info dumped from Paul Rudd. So he leaves him with a semi, but it doesn't finish him off. Not that I really want to think about Donald Pleasance getting finished off, but there we go.
No.
On a curtain.
By the way, the director of this film didn't do that many movies, but done loads of TV shows and still making shows now. Like, I've been watching Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone, and he's directed that. Which is really random. Yeah. So he's working TV directing right now, which is so good for him.
Now, Michael is spying on his old house at this point, the Myers' old house, which obviously the Strode family now live in. And he sees Cara's mum taking a box down into the basement. Then she takes some laundry upstairs. And she doesn't see it, but we see.
This is one thing, sorry to interrupt you, this is one thing I do quite like with the Halloween
movies. I really enjoy this scene.
There's always, even in the new Halloween, the 2018 one, they did it like quite a one-er. There's always Michael just going to a house, whether it's like then, and I always like the ones when it's a lady in the house doing her house chores and Michael's somewhere in the house and it's that fun game to play as the audience member. It's something they always do and they always have to put them in there and it's always quite fun.
But when she turns around in the kitchen, it's actually Dr. Loomis in her house. And he says, I've come to help your family.
Who the fuck are you? Get out of my house.
What do you mean you come to help my family?
It's literally my first thing. Rather than sit down with him and then ring up your husband. Husband, there's someone here. He's come to help us. Is he trying to sell you gas or something, you know?
He's a crazy old doctor with a really weird, whispery voice. Now, Tommy takes the baby. So Paul Rudd takes the baby home and says, well, I think I'm going to call you Stephen.
I would be sorry. Going back to, I'd be like, why didn't you ring the doorbell? Like literally,
why did you just break in?
Walk in the house to? I need to see you. No.
She could have been having a cheeky Tommy Tank in the kitchen.
Could have been over the table.
But anyway, just as weird as the fact that he just decided. No offense to the name Stephen, but when I look at a tiny baby that I found in a bus station bathroom, I don't think, I'm going to call you Stephen. But he does. He calls baby Stephen. And there's a woman that lives with him.
It's not your baby, Paul Rudd.
There's a woman that lives with him who I thought was his mum, but she's not. She's like the homeowner, the landlady. And she's basically just a zombie. She just sort of walks around in a daze, not really paying attention to the fact there's now a crying baby in her house. And then he just looks to the child and he goes, I'll protect you, Stephen. And Paul Rudd must have been thinking, is this my big break? Is this really my big break? I'm saying, I'll protect you, Stephen, to a little baby. I don't know. But back to Lewis. He spills the beans to Kara's mum. And this is where he really goes into Michael is pure evil. I've seen his eyes. And he does all of his favourite sort of Michaelisms, talks about how there was nothing inside of him. I studied him for years. And he says, and Jamie's still alive. She's fighting for her life in hospital. And then he leaves. So she calls her husband and she says, there was a man here saying, that we live in this house. You bastard, you didn't tell me you bought this house so cheap because this is the house where all the people were killed by Michael Myers, you son of a bitch. And while she's on the phone to her asshole husband who says, you're talking shit, da-da-da, Michael appears behind her. Again, you like these, and so do I, love these in Halloween, where Michael's just stood there and the person that we're following doesn't know he's there. And then she gets a phone call and it's just the voice that says, we want the child. What the fuck's going on? So she says, she sees Michael, she runs outside into a classic horror trope. She runs outside, there's loads of white sheets hanging on the washing line. And someone's in the sheet, she falls over, an axe gets lifted up in the air and blood goes all over the sheets. And it's great, less is more, you don't need to see it. We know what's happened and the blood on the white looks great. And that's the end of her. She's dead.
Yep.
So then we see the man in black, the sort of cowboy hatted, cowboy boot wearing man, spying on people, spying on Danny. Tommy goes over and starts talking to him. Kara, she walks home alone. She walks in and she's like, Mum. There's no one there. And we think, oh shit, she's going to find her mum's body in a minute. Yeah. She searches the whole house. She can't find it. I've written here, it's really good tension. This point, she's walking around the house. It's really good because we're expecting her to see the body of her mum. Yeah, but it doesn't actually happen. Instead, she finds her son playing a Game Boy on the bed with a random stranger, that
holding a baby
next door neighbour, baby Stephen,
who's a pervert, and he's got a baby now. He'd be like, "You didn't have a baby yesterday. Where's the baby come from, Stephen or baby Stephen?"
Yeah, and the first thing he says to her, she's like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "You're in danger, Kara. Why don't you two come to my house with me now?"
And she does.
And she goes, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah.
Okay, Paul Rudd, you're devastatingly handsome.
It was a trusting time, I guess, I suppose.
I'll just come to your house with you. So he takes her to the house and he says, I think Michael is coming back and I want you to watch your house very carefully from my bedroom window. Because trust me, I can see your house really well from my bedroom window. Ignore those tissues down there on the windowsill. And all those Polaroid pictures I've got of you in your underwear. Let me put all that away. Yeah, that lube, that isn't anything. But yeah, I can see your house really well from my bedroom window. So I want you to watch it and see if anything strange happens in your house.
He also explains about the star constellation, the Fawn, which is the star constellation, which when it aligns, Michael kills or something.
Yeah, well, we'll come to that in just a moment. So just before that, we see Jamie in the hospital. She's lying in the bed and she's sort of having a nightmare about having her baby and the labour. And we see in the flashbacks of her nightmare that Michael was stood right there in the corner of the room watching her have this baby, his own baby. His niece was having his own baby. It's all very... and then as she's sort of dreaming, a gun is slowly pressed to her forehead and bang, someone's assassinated her, which is crazy, really. And that's the end of Jamie, really. Loomis obviously goes insane when he finds out that she's been killed in hospital. He sees the body and he sort of says, I can't believe you've let this happen. You're supposed to be under protection. She's dead, Jamie. And that's the end of Danielle Harris's character, really. She's been shot in the head. Tommy, going back to what you were saying then. Tommy's on the very early internet and he says to Kara, and this is the really bad scripting that he had to do though, and he basically explains that symbol that was burnt into the hay, the symbol that your son keeps drawing, is the symbol of Thorn, who is an evil demon from pagan Celtic times, and it's all linked to sacrifices. They used to do it on ancient times on Halloween. So basically every whatever many years it is, 17 years or something, when the constellation forms that sign in the sky, that's when someone wipes out an entire family, meaning the rest of the village can thrive and survive. And Michael is the one that's been doing it for these last few years. That's where he comes back on some Halloweens.
When you get that script and you're reading it going, oh my God, what is this bollocks?
I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid $5,000 or whatever it was. He probably got paid. And he says, all I can tell you is we've got to find Loomis and we've got to find him now. So Tommy leaves Danny and Cara. He says, stay here. Don't go back to your own house. Stay in my house where it's safe with my lunatic landlady. And it was all going to be fine. And I'll go off and find Loomis because I've said I'll meet him at 9 o'clock tonight. I've got to go. So he runs out. So Loomis is told by the doctor, well, we've examined her. And it turns out, you know, I know she's dead, but it turns out she had a baby less than 24 hours ago. He holds up a vial and he goes, this is whatever it is, like blood from an afterbirth. And he's like, yeah, she definitely had a baby 24 hours ago. And Loomis is like, we have to find that baby. Find it immediately. I think I know where it is. And he remembers he saw Ant-Man with a baby in the hospital, so he knows where that baby is. So Tommy now is at the town Halloween fair.
We've got the dad that comes home.
Yeah, that's in just a moment.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tommy's at the Halloween fair, and the man in black is there as well. But it's a bit of a red herring because it turns out that that's DJ Barry.
DJ Barry
in a pair of underwear, nothing more underneath it.
DJ Barry.
He makes his guest appearance. And he sort of says, "Hey, welcome everybody! It's me, you sons of bitches!" And they're like, "Woo! He's such a great guy! Woo-hoo!"
It's really odd to just throw him in a little bit, then he's taken out of the films really quickly. It seems weird.
Well, now Cara's dad comes home, probably a bit drunk, to an empty house. He's like, "I'm home. Where's my goddamn dinner? Where is everybody?"
He's not a very nice person.
And then the lights cut out. And he's like, "Oh, for God's sake." And he hears a noise in the basement. And he thinks, well, how can the washing machine be going when there's no power in the place? So did Michael rewire the entire house so that only the washing machine works, but the rest of the house has no power? Is that what he did?
I don't know. It's one of his other skills. Apart from the secret umbrella and his teleportation and speed skills, he can also do DIY electrical stuff.
The master electrician. But it's a great bit of tension here because he heads down into the dark basement, which is now flooded from the washing machine, and the washing machine is rattling away like, and we think we know what's in there. We think it's probably going to be Cara's mum.
I still know what you did last summer.
Yeah, it's like that. He opens the washing machine. It's actually some bloody sheets in there.
We do get some classic Halloween piano.
Yeah. And then reenact that for us.
Yeah, it's kind of.
And then Michael stabs him with a crowbar through the chest. He goes straight into the electrical board in the basement. Not only is he stabbed, he's also being electrocuted to death. And I put in brackets, fully deserved that.
Michael must have been wearing rubber-soled shoes.
Of course, because he stood in water.
And he's fine.
And he's holding a metal crowbar.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another one of his skills. Doesn't conduct electricity. He's got a lot of skills, Michael, hasn't he?
He's like a Swiss Army knife, isn't he?
He is. This is a Swiss Army thermos.
Yeah.
My kids love Hubie's thermos as well because they cannot get their head around it. It's a vacuum, a torch, a megaphone. At one point, it's a grappling hook. They think it's brilliant that he's got that. They absolutely love it.
That's funny.
It's such a great film. Sorry, I keep talking about Hubie Halloween. So, Barry is now giving a big speech to the crowd of Haddonfield. And he's talking about why he's there, why Halloween should come back to Halloween. And the residents are saying, we want to bring it back. It's been so many years now. We want Halloween. We want to celebrate it. You know, Michael's not coming back. He's dead as far as we all know. And yeah, it's revealed because Tim accidentally slips up and says, well, Tim doesn't know this. His girlfriend, Beth, says, well, Tim, my boyfriend, is moved into the Myers' old house. And he's like, what?
Yeah, so the DJ's like, that's amazing. Let's go live from the house, which is, I was like, oh my God, it's going into Buster Rhymes Halloween Resurrection, his territory here.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I watched this the other night. Trick or treat, motherfucker. I put it on. Ben was round. And I was like, I was going to put this on in the background. And he's like, I don't remember this movie. And I was like, yeah. Anyway, so I thought it was going that territory. I was like, I'm quite looking forward to doing like a live radio. I was like, I don't remember this at all. A live radio show at the Myers house. And then he could get killed while live and everyone heard it on the radio. I thought that would have been really cool. No, he's killed straight away before he even gets to the house.
Yeah, he gets in it. He calls his assistant and says, what am I doing here in this shithole of a town? The only thing I've got going now is I'm going to be going to the Myers house in a minute. And I'll be there in a minute to broadcast live. But then he's killed by Michael in his van. And his death, the way his body is discovered is probably one of the darkest moments in the film with that little kid underneath it, which we'll get to in a moment. Yeah. So Beth and Tim head back to Tim's house, and he says to her, "Is my house really where it all happened?" She's like, "Yeah, didn't you know that?" And he's like, "Jesus, no, I didn't know that. I'm pretty fucking creeped out that there was so much murder in my house."
I like this bit though. She's dressed as the Bride of Frankenstein, and they actually end up doing a remake of the first kill, which Michael sees when he sees his sister going upstairs to have sex. She pulls him upstairs holding hands up the staircase, and I was like, that's really sneakily done.
Yeah it's good, and it's actually I say it's cheaply made, but there is some good production.
Someone loved the films without being too over the top with them, you know.
Yeah. Well, Tommy's waiting, and back to Tommy, he's still at this party, and he's waiting to meet Loomis, and he hears somebody saying, "It's raining red. It's raining red, Mummy. It's raining red." He's sort of singing, and he walks around the corner of this tree, and there's this little girl, isn't it? And rain's dripping all over, but it's not rain. And she says, "It's warm. The rain is warm." And then he looks up and he sees that it's the DJ Barry, whose body then falls out of the tree.
How did Michael kill the DJ? Then slowly as he walks is another skill he has. How did he somehow, without anyone seeing, go over and put a body up in a tree?
I know, it's like right in the middle of the party.
Did he have a ladder? How did he do that?
Did he just throw him up there?
I don't know. It must be another skill he's got.
The Barry's body falls out of the tree, and Loomis and Tommy see it, and they say, "Well, we better get over to the Myers house now. Let's go."
They go there, and the two couple who've just gone upstairs to shag, they have sex very quickly, like in the original movie, but they're like, "Oh, it's so funny doing it in your sister's bed." This guy has his own bed in the house, but he has sex in his sister's bed. And because she wants to do that, and it's like, why does your girlfriend want to have sex in your younger sister's bed? It's really weird.
It is weird.
That's not like a fun, exciting thing. Let's just do it in your bed. It's weird.
That's like in that scene in what's the movie where they got the home invasion and they don't realise that the Australian girl is a badass. And then it turns out it's the family that are in on it. Oh, you know the one I mean.
Yeah.
And then the girl at one point says, "Let's have sex right next to your mother's corpse. Come on, it'll really turn me on." And he's like, "Why?"
Yeah.
I mean, it's a more extreme version of that, but
he then showers, and this is the first time I think I've ever seen it. Michael Myers is a towel maiden and hands him a towel when he's in the shower. Why does Michael even do this?
I've written that bit.
Why
because
does he do
shower,
it?
And he's like, "I gotta stay fresh, so I'm gonna have a quick shower."
Did he go, "I need a towel"? Did Michael then look around and go, "There's a towel"? Just instantly, without thinking about the killer inside him, get a towel and hand him a towel. It seems so funny that he would do it.
And you just see this grubby hand come through the shower curtain.
I want to see a wide shot of the bathroom and Michael just doing that.
And he hands him a lovely green folded towel, but he's got his rune symbol on his wrist.
But then he waits till he's out and looking in the mirror and he slits his throat. So when he does that, he then goes, "I'm now going to hide." Okay, where are you hiding? I don't know where. Maybe when he steps out the shower, he gets in the curtain from the other side and steps in the shower so he doesn't see him. Michael Myers has very many skills and he hands towels out.
He's like Liam Neeson in Taken. While this is all going on, obviously there's no power in the house, so they had to have sex by candlelight. So Cara and her son are in the house opposite, and they can see people are in the Myers house, their house. So she phones up and she says, "Beth," this is a great moment actually. "Beth, there's somebody in the room with you. There's someone in the room with you." And she can't stop what's about to happen, which is that she sees.
This could have been done with a load more tension if they just planned this a little bit more. There's certain things they could have built this up a bit more, kind of like Have You Checked the Children?
Yeah, it's already quite tense, but it could have been much more tense. But it's good. It's a good little tidbit of tension.
It's okay. It could have been a lot more scarier.
So Cara runs into the house, crosses over and goes into the house, heads up into the bedroom, and she finds Beth and Tim dead in her bed.
Why does she not ring the police?
Naked. I'm not sure, because the phone definitely works.
Well, before she left to run over there, ring the police, then run over there. But okay, let's just go with instinct.
She finds Danny in a trance.
Where's
and then
the baby?
Michael enters. Not sure where the baby is at this point.
No,
I think the old lady next door, Paul Rudd's landlady, still got the baby, I think.
Oh, okay.
But Michael enters the house, and some dead person sort of drops down. Michael loves displaying his bodies, as we've discussed.
He does have a weird thing with that.
She trips Michael, and he falls down the stairs.
He's like Banksy, isn't he?
Yeah, little bits of artwork here and there. DJ Barry in the tree. I call this one DJ Barry in the tree. Tommy and Loomis arrive outside, and Cara, another great little bit of tension. Could have been better, but it was pretty good. Michael's body is lying lifeless at the bottom of the stairs, and she has to sort of step over him to get her son. And as she just steps past him, he grabs her ankle. She manages to escape, and they run next door. Tommy lets them in, and he says, "The baby's gone.
Loomis is there
the baby's
as well.
gone." Yeah, and he's got his old.
And they're
old mate
saying,
Loomis
"Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" Then the lady comes in and says, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" And I'm the guy going, "I don't know. Where is the baby? Someone tell us, where's the baby?"
Werewolf. Where's the baby?
Yeah.
There, baby. And then Danny hears, "Come to me, Danny."
Freddy Krueger again.
And I don't know if they all hear that voice.
So all of a sudden Danny just turns around and walks out, and they just go, "Oh, let's just now stop everything and follow this young child into another room." Why? I don't know why. And in there is the doctor, so the head chief administrator from the hospital who Loomis was going to team up with, is sitting there. And then there's loads of OAPs in cult members outfit, like the NWA from Hot Fuzz.
Yep.
It's like, what's going on now? Where's just Michael? Everyone says, we just want Michael Myers killing people. What's going on?
And even the crazy old lady, Paul Rudd's landlady, she's in on it as well.
Of course she is.
So Cara does a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She jumps out the window and runs off. And there's loads of cult members swarm the room. And then we cut to Loomis and Tommy. And they just sort of stood outside the house going, I feel like I've been drugged.
What happened here? Why are they now outside and feel like they've been drugged?
And Loomis says, "We have been drugged. It's what they do." How does he know? He's never known about this cult.
A minute ago, they were all in the living room saying, "Where's the baby?" They walk into the other thing, the chief administrator. Then all of a sudden, it cuts to them outside going, "We've been drugged." Why are they outside now?
We should really have seen them being injected, knocked out. And then
why would they just put out on the street? Why did they just kill him?
Because we don't really even see them catch Cara. We just suddenly see Cara lying on an altar in a fancy dress.
Yeah.
And something's about to happen to her. We don't know what. And then so Tommy and Loomis head to Smith's Grove.
They go back to where the chief administrator is, where obviously the cult thing is underneath. But yeah, I think we missed a scene. They must have.
Yeah.
There is the producer's cut, and I didn't watch this. We should have said about this. I remember buying it on eBay, like a fucking pirate videotape.
So you've seen it?
Of the producer's cut. Yeah, years ago. No, DVD of a videotape.
I've never seen it.
I think it's in parts on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen.
It's got.
I have seen.
It's got
scenes.
runestone pictures, like animation, not animation, but like drawings, sort of thing and stuff. I remember that, but can't remember much more. So, yeah.
Well, Loomis gets asked by Terrence. He's like, "So, will you join the Avengers?" Pretty much says, "Do you want to join my cult?"
Yeah.
And Loomis is like, "No, I've fought my whole life against Michael and therefore you guys, so I won't ever join you." Meanwhile, Tommy's in the corridor following one of the cult members around.
They knock out Loomis.
They do. They knock him out. And he says, "Leave him there. It's his office now."
Well,
what?
What's that mean?
I don't know. Tommy follows the cult member and he sees the cavern with all the candles in it that was in the opening scene. And this time it's Kara that's tied to the altar. And there's a baby on the altar as well. And they're starting a ritual. And even old Mikey Myers is stood there in the corner like a good dog waiting. And it looks what they're trying to do is kill the baby. Michael's got to kill the baby, his own baby. Then
why was Michael humping his niece in the first place? And does he keep the mask on?
I would hope he would. For protection. So I think what they're planning on doing is Michael has to kill the baby, and that's his final kill. And then they'll pass the curse on to Danny, the little boy, and he will then have to kill his own mum, and that's where the whole process starts again, and he's the new Michael, and that's what they're planning on doing. And that's why this time around I actually got the plot. I understood what was going on, whereas all the times I've watched this is probably about the 6th or 7th time I've watched this, I'd never really got what the fuck was going on, really. I just was bored. Because I'm making notes on it and I'm understanding it this time around, I understood it. So it's the Cult of Thorn. Loomis, like I say, yeah, he comes to later on. He comes to save the day, of course. Kara asks Michael, she says, Michael, don't kill the baby. The baby's yours, Michael. Isn't it? And this is where I'm like, is it? This is where it's really revealed that you're like, what? So he had sex with his own niece?
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's so strange. Tommy grabs Terrence and puts a knife to his throat. So he bursts in and sort of puts a knife to his throat. And he manages to get Kara, the baby, and Danny out of there. They all run off. The alarms will start going off and the lights are flashing, and they realise they're kind of locked in, really. They're trying to get out of this asylum.
Paul Rudd just goes, I'm going to cut my hand, wipe my blood on the floor, and throw some runestones on it. Michael just walks all over this and it doesn't do anything whatsoever. It seems a complete pointless waste of blood.
But it does work because it freezes Michael like a statue.
Is that what it does? Oh, right, okay.
So this is, again, suspend your disbelief. It's nothing to do with the originals. There's no magic in any of the other ones, but in this one, if you cut a symbol into your hand and throw some runestones on the floor, Michael will freeze in his tracks and not be able to move. And it doesn't really make any sense. He just stands like a statue.
So they managed to get away because of that. And outside they see Loomis. They're like, Loomis, come with us. And he says, no, I must go back in there. He goes back in there. And just before this happened, we did see the chief administrator again walk up to Michael and say, what have they done to you, Michael? And then it cuts to the outside. Loomis says, I've got to go back in there. Loomis goes back in there, and we see Michael now laying on the floor with the mask on. But no, Michael has another power. He can switch clothes with people in seconds. And
even though they're different sizes.
Literally take his other guy's trousers off, his trousers off, and go, I've got an idea, and do this. While he was frozen, he came up with an idea and somehow managed to do this with the other guy going, okay, that's cool. It's such a weird thing now. Really weird.
Because Loomis has a gun and he walks up to what he thinks is Michael lying on the floor.
It's like they're rushing through the film now.
He says, it's over, Michael. And he pulls the mask off and he sees it's actually Terrence. And Terrence is like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Oh, Michael's gone.
It's like they're making it up as they were shooting. Honestly, it's like they're making up at this point here.
Well, talking of making it up, I do not understand this next moment where a rune symbol
does go to shit now.
It appears on Loomis's hand. So what, has he got the curse now? Is Loomis going to be the new Michael? I don't understand. And then we see Michael in a trench coat and hat walking through some sewers or something. And then I think
Loomis
the rune
is screaming
symbol,
with his hand.
And then I don't know if the rune symbol disappears or if he's got the curse.
Well, where's the baby?
Well, Paul Rudd's taken it with Kara and Danny, and they've gone off.
But
it's never resolved because all of a sudden Loomis screams at this rune symbol on his hand, and then we just see a jack-o'-lantern candle blown out, and that's the end. And
that's the trouble with this. It's so rushed here. I think this is the trouble. I was watching a masterclass on DJing, and I didn't really get much from it, but that's not the point. But the one thing I did get from it is like people always remember when you DJ the first and last songs you played. And I was like, that really rings true to a lot of things, films and all sorts. And with this movie, I think with a lot of movies, you could watch a great movie, then if the ending just fails and feels, flops a bit, you kind of just go, where otherwise if it'd been good, you'd be like, I want to watch that film again, And this here, just like, what went on? I don't understand.
Well, there's no explanation or resolution of where that rune symbol came from on his hand. And okay, I know there's magic in the mix now, which is, okay, I don't agree with that, but whatever, they put that into this plot. But I don't know if he suddenly had the curse. Should he then have killed himself? I'd like two things in this film. I'd like a scene where you see Tommy and Loomis get knocked out, like we said, and then capture Kara. I get that they're going for the whole, where are we? They must have taken Kara. I feel like we've been drugged. We have. But it would have been better if we'd have seen that. Just a minute scene. Yeah. And I would also like an explanation as to what's happening with Loomis at the end. Because all we know is Michael's now got a trench coat, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat. And he's walking off into the sunset.
And he
lost his
virginity to his niece.
Yeah, good lad. Not.
It's weird.
And we don't know if Loomis is now cursed or not. We don't know if Michael's going to carry on killing her. And we don't know what happens to the baby.
Keeping a baby? Oh, that's weird.
Is he going to hook up with Kara, his neighbour that he spied on?
I guess
and
that
then
was the idea. And
raise her son and baby Stephen?
And they won't be traumatised and they just go back to the houses where their dead families are? Oh.
Maybe this baby will grow up to be Steven
Paul
Seagal.
Rudd's landlady is a cult member, so she's probably still going to be there or a cult member. I just don't know.
So yeah, I really would like a bit more of an explanation as to that ending, and perhaps I'll hunt down the producer's cut. Yeah, because
I think we should, and we can come back to it. Maybe.
What I would say is this time around, I did enjoy this a lot more, and definitely think this is better than 5.
Yeah, I agree.
4's still better, I think.
4's better than this. It's going to be, 4's better than this, then 5.
But I can see why they start again. Yeah, so next year we'll be covering H20, which is bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis. Really feels like a Scream 90s style proper slasher.
Yeah, it does. I enjoyed the next one.
And even Resurrection, from what I remember of it, is good. I don't remember Regeneration.
I don't know that film at all.
Isn't there one after that called Halloween Regeneration? Or am I making that up?
I think you're making that up.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sure there was a Regeneration.
After that's Rob Zombie.
Let me just have a quick look. I'm sure there was another one after that, but I've probably got that wrong.
No, you're making up a movie in your head.
But that would be awesome if there was one. But let's have a look. Halloween Resurrection. Oh no, you're right. Fuck me, I've just made up one up.
Goes to Rob
Halloween
Zombie.
Regeneration. It does. So yeah, look, I think it really pains me to say this, but this is a better made film than the Freddy film we've covered, but it's let down by the really confusing ending. At least with the Freddy movie, the whole thing is confusing, and you're kind of on board for that all the way through. And when it ends, you're just kind of like, oh, well, that was that. With this one, you kind of get a little bit invested in it, and then it ends, and you don't get any explanation. So it's kind of
There's no payoff, no.
Yeah, there's no shot.
I only give it a thumbs up for people who want to finish the series. I don't know if you need to watch it, but it's not the worst film, which I initially thought was. So
I think the behind the scenes is more interesting than the film. There's a lot that went on behind the scenes with the production rights, the cut of it, and the producers really being unhappy with it, and the director being unhappy with what was being done, and Donald Pleasance wanting to come back and deliver his final good performance as Dr. Loomis, and I think he did a good job in this. And yeah, but it's just a very confusing film. These two films, part 6 of both of these franchises we've covered in this episode, very odd films in the franchise, and the only really redeeming quality is that number 5 for both of them was worse than these two.
Yeah.
But I think we're through the worst of it. So next year, guys, we'll be covering Halloween H20.
Yeah.
Which is a really enjoyable film. Gav and I both really love that. And we'll be covering New Nightmare, which Gav hasn't seen, and I'm really excited for you to see that. It's definitely one of my favourite Freddy's. So come back next year for Halloween, and that's what we'll be doing. Fun stuff. But we did it, Gav. We got through part 6 of both of them.
Right.
We mainly made sense of Halloween 6, but it's still very confusing.
It is still the spooky season, so I feel like we should come back now and do a little bit of our outros for so everyone can go out there and go trick or treating. We'll be back in a minute. And we're back.
Back
again. I hope everyone's having a nice Halloween. Enjoyed listening to us speaking.
Indeed. I'm trying to think of what Halloween, because normally I always eat Halloween treats. I've been eating the usual stuff, you know, cakes that are shaped like pumpkins, and I bought some Halloween donuts probably 2 months ago. I sent you the picture of them, Gav.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween donuts in August. I ate them.
Well, you did have a Christmas sandwich today.
What's that? Oh, like turkey.
Christmas season. It was pigs under blankets, cranberry juice, cranberry sauce, bacon, and
pigs
sausages.
Under blankets. You mean pigs in blankets?
No, it's called pigs under blankets. It's in a sandwich.
Pigs under pants.
It's a shame, really. I like savoury more than sweet, so I wish Halloween had more savoury stuff going on. But you know.
Yeah, it's more about the sweet, isn't it? You don't really, even pumpkin pie.
Got like funky sausage rolls or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, there we go. So that was episode 185. That was our annual Halloween special. We'll be come back in next year for part 7 of both those franchises. But I know you're desperate to know what's coming up.
What's coming up, Dan? What's coming up?
It's coming up. It's coming up. It's there. Next episode 186, we're going found footage. Oh yeah, baby. Possibly one of the greatest Halloween pranks pulled on the United Kingdom. We'll be covering 1992's Ghost Watch. Mm-hmm. So keeping it still a bit Halloweeny. But that is a fantastic found footage mockumentary almost, isn't it, that one? Because it was broadcast live. Well, I say live, it was shot and then broadcast.
We'll go for it, but it'd be interesting. I watched it live.
It's like a modern day World
Did you watch
of the
it
Worlds. I think I must have done, because I remember talking about it at school. So we must have done. Yeah, we must have done. I would have
remember
been
very well.
I would have been 11, I think. No, 13. 13 I would have been.
Didn't it come out in 87?
92.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have been 14, you would have been 15.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely did watch it in that case.
Right, yeah, makes sense.
And in fact, I can still see the picture of the front of the Radio Times with Michael Aspel sat on the front. Tune in tonight, you know, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So
we get into it because it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And we're pairing that up with a similarly themed but more theatrical story, Late Night with the Devil from 2023, which I've only seen the once. I think you said you've only seen it once as well. Maybe you've seen it twice now.
Only once at the cinema.
You recommended that to me, and I am glad you did. I really enjoyed that. So that's a good one to talk about as well. It goes crazy towards the end, but I think if you stick with it and enjoy the ride, lean into it, it's a fun one. So a couple of found footage ones there.
I know, looking forward to that.
And then episode 187 after that will be a director's special. Mr. Lucio Fulci will be under the spotlight. A guy who loves his gore, his zombies, his cannibalism.
He does.
And just generally a bit batshit crazy. Looking forward to that. There'll be a lot of maggots in that one. We'll be covering 2 of his films, City of the Living Dead from 1980 and The House by the Cemetery from 1981.
Yeah.
House by the Cemetery is a great title for a film.
It is.
So yeah, it's a couple of great films there. We'll obviously go into sort of his career and his backstory a little bit, and then after that it will be a patron for episode 188. But I don't have anything to tell you about that yet because I don't have the picks. So that's a blank slate at the moment. But we'll be easing our way towards Christmas. So bear that in mind. Over the next sort of couple of months, we'll be dropping a Christmas special on you, which is crazy. But yeah, that's what's coming out. So we've got some found footage, some Fulci, and then a patron pick. And as you know, with patron picks, anything goes. It could be anything. Who knows? We'll find out. So that's it from us. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Gav, again, for celebrating Halloween with me. Thanks for bearing with my compulsions of watching all the franchises.
Yes, I know. I swore last year. This year, I didn't swear as much.
as always, the discussion about the film is much more entertaining than the film itself sometimes, isn't it?
It is.
Although these, 6 of Halloween was a better film. And I didn't believe you when you messaged me and said, I think I've really enjoyed this actually compared to previous watches. And I thought, this isn't true. And I watched it and thought, he's right.
I know. I was in bed, I did a double bill, and I was like watching some films and just had a good old time. And I was just like, I kind of enjoyed that, and I don't know why. Maybe I was in a good mood. I don't know, but no.
Yeah, the ending's awful, but everything else about it was all right. Well, as always, we've been the podcast on Haunted Hill. Thank you, everybody, for listening, sharing, liking, jumping in on the Facebook page. And thank you to everybody for sharing, of course, what you're watching and listening to and reading and playing, etc., over the Halloween period. It's such a fun time to be on the Facebook group. Really, really love seeing what everybody's doing. And apologies to some of you. I got a couple of messages today from Dean Martin and a couple of other people saying that their posts had been marked as pending, and you've been marked as spam by our Facebook page. So I've gone in and manually 47 posts had been marked as spam and therefore were pending. So I had to go in today manually undo that. But hopefully I fixed the algorithm now on our Facebook page. I do apologise to everybody, but your posts are all on there now, and I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, you're all on there now. So do keep posting what you're watching, and don't forget, post what you dress up as and what your Halloween costumes are and what your decorations are. But we have been the podcast on Haunted Hill, and we are a proud member of Legion Podcasts, and we fall under the Deadbolt Media umbrella.
We do.
We are a proud member of Legion Podcasts and have been for 11 going on 12 years. I think it'll be this Christmas. I can't quite remember now. It's been a long time. You can find out more about the Legion on legionpodcast.com, which is where you can find about us and all the other shows within the network and all of the previous shows that we've done, episodes, and the same for the other shows. I mentioned Facebook. We are on, of course, Facebook. If you jump on there and just search for the podcast on Haunted Hill, that's where we're most active, and we have a lovely community of weirdos and psychos and crazies who love posting about everything they're doing, particularly this time of year.
Yep.
You can DM me on there or Gav if you want, but it's more better if you do it for me. And Legion have their own Facebook page as well. Again, just go to Legion Podcasts. We have an email address, and that is the podcast on Haunted Hill, that's all one word, at outlook.com. If you want to message me directly, we can answer any queries you might have. Just have a general chit chat. Always love getting emails on there. Wherever you're listening to us now is where you can continue to listen to us. We're on most podcast platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Podknife, Podbean, Apple, Podcast Addict, everywhere. Just type in the podcast on Haunted Hill into Google and you shall find us. You'll find us wherever we are. We're also on Instagram. Our handle is, all one word, the podcast on Haunted Hill Insta, which is mainly we just use that to promote the episodes with a little collage of what we've watched and a link to the episode. So if you'd like to follow us on there, you can. Mention Deadbolt Films, that is our production company. We have a website which is deadboltfilms.com. Got my tongue tied there. Jump onto that website to find out more about all the short films, the long films, music videos, comics, this podcast, and the other podcast that Gav does, which is called
The High Strangeness Podcast with me and Sarah. We just celebrated our 100th episode.
I was going to say, congratulations.
Nazis. Thank you very much. Nazis and the occult.
Yes, so they cover mainly true crime, but they veer off into other sort of X-Files. They're almost like the British Scully and Mulder, you two. Except it's Sarah that more believes, and you're the one that's sort of like, nah, unless it's Bigfoot. You believe in Bigfoot more than anything, and aliens. But yeah, you covered Nazis and their obsession with the occult, time travel, aliens, and many other crazy things. It was a really big episode for you guys, 100 episodes and still going strong. So well done to you guys for that.
Thank you very much.
Also within Deadbolt Films, we have a YouTube channel. Again, just search for Deadbolt Films on YouTube. That's where you can catch lots of movies. If you fancy watching some found footage, you can watch Amanda, which is our most recent one. We've also got a short Star Wars film on there called Sanctuary Moon, if you like Predator / Star Wars type films with a bit of gore in there, then you can watch that as well.
There's a few other short films as well on there, other horror movies we've made. So
yeah, over the years. It's been going about 13, 14 years now, perhaps. And on Instagram, it's just Deadbolt Films, all one word, and you'll get some little behind the scenes if you follow us on there of what's going on, little teasers of projects upcoming. And finally, if you wish to become a patron supporter, we would really appreciate that. Yep. Patron supporters get a few perks. Not only do they get a T-shirt in one of 3 colours sent out to them,
Dan sends out Polaroids.
Paul Rudd sends out Polaroids of his next door neighbour. Not only do you get the T-shirt, you also get exclusive access to some of the content, like the mini episodes we're putting out over the course of this month. There'll probably be 6 or 7 of those by the end of the month,
and
breaking down everything that we're reviewing in part of our 31 days.
And every episode we've ever done is on Patreon.
It is indeed. You'll also get a shout out at the end of each of our main episodes, and you get to pick a patron pick, which is every 3 episodes. One of our patrons gets to tell us what 2 films they want us to watch. We'll review them and we'll read out your email or anything else you want us to say or do. We'll literally be your performing monkeys for that episode in our little monkey suits. And we'll love to do that for you. If you wish to become a patron for as little as £1 or $1 a month, we would really appreciate that. You can just go over to Patreon and search for the podcast on Haunted Hill and subscribe. Like I said, even if you just want to do it for the month of October or a month after October, by the time you're listening to this, you can just then check out all of the sort of short episodes we've done, just breaking down what we've reviewed for our 31s, and then you can unsubscribe. So we've had people do that in the past, and that's not a problem. It's really great that anybody bothers to, help us out in a financial way. The money does all go towards buying new equipment and renting and tracking down more obscure films. We are in the process of potentially buying me a new mic. It's just to make my side of things even more clearer and more professional. So that's something we might be doing with our patron, from our patron supporters. So thank you guys. So yeah, let's give them all a thank you and say happy Halloween to all of our patrons and to everybody else.
Thank you. Happy Halloween, you guys. I do appreciate you patrons. Thanks very much.
So thank you very much. Happy Halloween to our patrons who are Sheila, Dante, Don Collier, Matthew Godley, Jamie Jenkins, Kevin S. Fife, Sarah Kay, Rachel, RJ McCready, and Lex Boo. Happy Halloween, you sons of bitches. Thank you so much, you guys. We love you all so much, and we love everybody for listening, supporting. We have had a real spike in downloads and streams over the last 6 months. Excuse me. I'm not sure what we're doing, but obviously something, because more people are listening than ever and downloading and streaming than ever. The last few episodes particularly, including the patron picks, have seemed to got a lot of hits. So someone out there is obviously sharing us with their friends. So if you'd want to do the same, we'd really appreciate that. You can leave a review, you can share, you can comment, you can like, you can do what you like. Do what you want, basically. It's your life. Yeah. Live it how you want to. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's it from us, Gav. That was our Halloween special.
So, be safe if you're out there trick-or-treating or whatever you be doing, and hopefully you get through your 31 and 31.
If your dad suddenly takes out a life assurance policy on you, then don't eat Halloween candy that he gives you.
No. And I'd say if you're make sure you lock the doors and check the cupboard and watch out for Donald Pleasance. He might be hiding behind the curtains.
I'm to help you do your laundry. Why are you here? Your laundry. Imagine if that's what he meant when he said, I've come to help your family. Do what? Clean. Oh, great. Thanks. But yeah, it's a good night from Paul Rudd, peering at you from his window, taking pictures of you in your underwear.
Good night for Donald Pleasance.
It's a good night from Roseanne, just jumping out of nowhere and telling you she's going to take you home and look after you.
It's a good night from Tom Arnold, really sweaty, wanting a ham sandwich.
It's a good night from Sharon Stone's ham sandwich. And it's a good night from you, Gav.
And it's a good night from, again, Sharon Stone's ham sandwich. Good night.
That deserves 2 good nights. Good night. Happy Halloween. Stay spooky.
Thank you for listening to the podcast on Haunted Hill. We will be back again real soon.